Let's get the music running. The upbeat one. There we go. The old porno music. And let's turn off my Wi-Fi connection and go to Ethernet.
Hello?
Is that C? That's C. Welcome, C.
I started Lords. I couldn't help but come.
There you go. You're such a dirty boy. We are here. I just started the stream. We are still on the begin shortly screen. So no rush.
You know, too much oxygen isn't healthy either.
Right. How are you, C? And how are you, Louie? Good to see you, Louie. You're so quick. All right.
Have we started?
Pretty much. I'm just giving it a few moments for people to show up.
Oh, okay.
I'll update the screen though. Let's see. Let's take the begin shortly off. Oh, let me. And more. Oh. Cool, we got 4 watching. Alright, that's good. That's probably 3 from here and 1 from there.
No, better than nothing.
For sure. 3, 2, 1. And the music stops. Alright. Greetings, everyone. Hello over there on YouTube. Hello, Louis Zenadog again and Joseph Dish. Joseph. I was first, though. I wonder if this is a new Joseph. I don't remember seeing a Joseph Dish. And you were the first, actually. You said Vader. Joseph. All right. Are you new, Joseph? Let me know if you're a new viewer on these or first time joining. So, first of all, let me know, guys, if our voices, as you hear us, are balanced. If somebody's too loud or too quiet, do let me know. I will try to adjust everything over here on Discord. Oh, crap. I'm on the wrong screen. I just realized that. That's not cool. That's what happens. And it's still showing that one. Hold on, folks. Let me put the shortly sign up first while I noodle with this.
I am the here.
Okay, what's going on here? What's going on? Oh, come on now. Why is it doing that to me? Alright, well, let's move everything to that screen, I guess. Yeah, we'll do it like this, and this will be closed. Okay. There we go. Okay. Here we are. Sorry about that. I was showing the wrong web. Oh, what's that crap in the back there? What's going on here?
Oh god, no.
Oh boy. It's alright, Chris. We're here for you.
That moment when the server is overcrowded and the game crashes.
That sucks. All right, we are officially started now. Thank you guys for being patient. Let's see, there's somebody joined? No. Okay, so greetings, everybody. This is Monstercast number 56. We're going to be talking about Dark Lords. We're going to clarify what that means exactly, or try to beforehand. Again, if volumes are off a bit, do let me know. I want to try to keep that balanced. And first two things I wanted to mention. First of all, or I'll mention this maybe later when there's more people on. I don't know. I'll mention this now and then again later, I guess. Basically, with our Voices of the Monsterhood, I guess since you're the most active here with Discord Pro, keep this in mind, Pro, and relay the message of need. I'm not going to be updating anymore, I think, the thumbnails for these videos on the Voices of the Monsterhood. It's just time. I'm trying to cut time, no matter how small the cuts are, everywhere. And making the thumbnails and that for the video, and then pushing the video over on Facebook and here, that takes a little bit of time too. I mean, at least, I don't know, a good hour for everything, even, if I do push it a little bit. So what I'm saying is if anybody, and that's not a big deal again, but of course it's nice to see those thumbnails with the topic on them. Now it's just going to be a default thumb that just says live, I think, unless I change that. So what I'm saying is if anybody wants like management access, or they want something like that, or to help out with the channel, to make those thumbnails, I can show you, well, you know what they look like. Do let me know. That's always open. But otherwise, I won't be really expecting that and pushing that. But there is that option. So you can help manage the Voices of the Monsterhood channel if you so wish. Because I need more time for the other channel. Life and other work just cuts too much time. It totally stresses me out. And I need to cut time somewhere. For you guys over on YouTube, again, it's not a big deal. If you guys join live, then it's all good. Just know that if you haven't seen a Monstercast and you're looking for it, it'll be hard to find it by thumbnail, so look at the titles. The titles will still be up to date. Descriptions will be just not the meta information, metadata, which means it won't be very searchable, but who cares? These aren't that searchable anyway on YouTube. That's first announcement. Second announcement. Today we're talking about Dark Lords, but before we get started, I wanted you guys to share with me, because we had the results of the Halloween Monster Art Contest 2019 recently. Again, congratulations to everyone that's participated in that, all our brave artists especially. So I wanted to ask you guys to share one of the artworks, or two if you must, that isn't yours. And probably that isn't one of the top 3 that you liked the most. Just as an extra shout out. And it's something that I can't do when I do the art results, because my favorites aren't necessarily the winners, right? They don't necessarily have to be the winners. I try to be unbiased when judging, and I know the judges try to as well. But I'm also not saying that there's other favorites. I'm just saying that there's other artworks sometimes that aren't in the top 3 that I really, really like, and I want to express that somehow. And I can in that video because it would come off not right. So, let's see. First, hello, Joseph. By the way, Louis, if you want to send me anything more, I do have you open, obviously, publicly here. On the website, on Facebook, I mean. I'm going to take that off. Let's hold some privacy somewhere. This live where we're losing privacy every day. And now I expose this. There we go, back to here. How many viewers? 2. Okay, cool. So, yeah, just wanted to let you know, Louis, I got your information and all that. So, Pro, anybody, if you guys want to share? Anything like that? No. That's why I wanted Dundee and Griffith to show up too. I was curious what their favorites were other than their own. Talk about the contest. Yeah. Well, let's see. I know Chris participated. Chris, did you have any that you really liked other than your own?
I gotta say, I can't remember who exactly it was. It was none of the top three.
Okay.
There was another one. Whatchamacallit, that had the no legs bit about it, and it looked fairly draconic. No offense to Dande, but it wasn't most fave. Sorry.
Was it a drawing, a black and white drawing?
Not sure. I did watch that video a while ago, so I can't quite clearly remember it.
Okay, because I have them all opened up here. Let's see. I don't want to just spam them in. You said no legs. Let's see. Well, I'll throw this one in and see if this was it.
Oh, yes, that was the
Awesome.
one. So apparently it was indeed black and white.
Yeah, that's what stuck out to me when you said no legs and one of your favorites, because this was one of mine as well. By the way, welcome. I'm going to welcome everybody in a moment here, but Sucking Neep Caps. I don't know if I know who this is. I should probably. They just changed their name. Who is Sucking Neep Caps? Is this somebody new or somebody I should know?
I do not know such a person.
Pro, is this a new person or somebody that changed their name? And Sucking Kneecaps, if you want to reply in text, if you are new, then go to the text cavern that I moved to the top now. It's the main voice cavern. That's where you can text chat with our voices. So yeah, Chris, this is actually one of my favorites as well. This was by Mark Peters, who also created some of my favorite Venoms of last year's contest. He's the one that shipped, I think, from Sweden or Switzerland. I always get those confused by name. He shipped his artworks and he did a fan art of World of Monsters and shipped those to me last year, which I was totally stoked about. So I love his approach. So yeah, that's our buddy Mark Peters. Shout out to him. Yeah, I really liked his look. I'll be honest about that. That's pretty cool.
I would like to question, if you don't mind me, what in which fields did my piece lack that it only got 35 points?
Okay, good question, and this is the time to ask. That's why I told Griffo to show up as well if she had questions or wanted advice about doing better next year. I'm totally willing to do that on this Monstercast. And sorry for those that aren't interested out there and are waiting for the Dark Lords. That'll come back up shortly. Chris, let me see. Do you want... Because I have your numbers right here. Well, I need the other ones too. Okay. Let me see here if I could do that quick. Do you want your numbers publicly or privately?
No, public is fine.
Public is fine? Okay, so let me see here because I have to open my email and make sure I don't do that publicly here. Okay.
I got 35 points total, and I'm like, I thought I would make it about 40. I had higher expectations, so to say.
Right.
Didn't expect to be the very top, but I expected at least 40 considering the different things.
Got you. Do you feel it's been judged comparing with everybody else? Would you say unfairly?
I wouldn't say unfairly because, I trust all of you guys, both you, and since you trust the gentleman that makes the fine motion picture animations, I trust both of your opinions, and if this is the result, then it is. I'm just curious, how did that particular scoring come to? Basically trying to compare my biases with reality, essentially.
Be right back.
All right. No worries. Let's go through it real quick. So 44 total, you got 35. That's pretty good, actually. That's not too bad.
Still in the very bottom of most people.
For creativity, you got 8 out of 10. So creativity did all right. Let's see, effort. And I'll tell you these numbers, and then I'll tell you from my perspective why I judged you as I did, as I can't speak on behalf of Blue Worm. Effort, you got, let's see, 8 out of 10, which is pretty decent. Skill, you got 6. That's where it's a bit lower out of 10.
That's out.
So that's going to do it. Theme, you got, let's see, it's 8 total. You got 7. And for synergy, how everything flows well together, you got, let's see, 5 out of 6. So not too bad.
5 out of 6.
So looks like mainly in skill. So, okay, let's take a look at my end here. Creativity. Creativity, I gave you a little bit above average. I could see that going up one more or staying where it is because of your write-up. But then again, the write-up can't count too much. And that's some advice I want to give everybody for future. Because I'm not judging these alone, when I have somebody else judge with me, they're just going to see the final product. I'm not going to be sending them concept art and write-ups unless they ask for it. I'm not going to bombard them with all this extra stuff. So it's really going to count on that final one-piece presentation. So make that count the most. If you want to write down some notes, like here's the eyes because they're used for seeing and the whatever. If you want to make notes like that, like a cool little concept art piece with, scientific write-ups, that's cool, but do it on that one piece because only one piece is going to go forth unless the judge asks me for more on a particular artist, which they usually don't because, this already takes out their time and, that's part of the reason why it's hard for people to agree to do this with me. So creativity did decently. I would say where it lacked for me is you did something, and I'll skip to synergy on that because I did give you one less point on synergy, which is rare because most people I would give the full 3 points. With synergy, my issue, and let me present Chris's piece, by the way, to keep the things interesting. And sucking kneecaps is basically legit depression, so cool, good to have you here. So what I said would not do too well on synergy, and I said it in the actual presentation video, is if you're going to take these 4 different creatures, considering fungus could be a creature, and just sticking them together, If you did that, I would think that not totally creative, and that's sort of what I immediately saw until I started working out your piece is you got, for the example, the bad ears, but they're just bad ears that are stuck onto the gecko head. So, for example, the synergy there and the realism and kind of the flow of realism between the two anatomical parts is kind of rough. And then just the mushrooms sitting on the back like that, just simple, glued on mushrooms, but then you have the strains coming out of the mushrooms that you can see into the gecko, so there's some bit of synergy going in more, and then the bat wings kind of looking from a different creature basically, not making it look like, hey, this creature looks like it's a species of its own. So that's where it was a little bit weak for me, but that's a really low point because that's only a 1 point, and that was a total of 6, and you already got the 5. So that didn't even affect you much. But that was one of the things that I personally kind of noticed as far as creativity and the creation of the whole thing and the synergy. Now, the theme you should have gotten all, I think Blue Worm might have judged you one less for theme because we were just seeing that differently. Theme was if we could see all four things kind of clearly. And here we obviously can. We can see Gecko, we can see bat ears, or the bat, we can see fungus, and the seahorse. But sometimes if you, Blue Worm was telling me, if he didn't see that immediately, all of them, he would give a point less or so. But I think, did you get a full on that? If you want me to repeat those numbers, if you write them down. Actually, you got full.
Theme, I think I got 8 out of 10. So
you got 8 out of 8. So you got everything.
Oh.
Yeah. So synergy, I mean, the theme you got right. That was an easy one because that's just showing that you followed the rules, and you obviously did. So next is effort. I'd say your higher end is effort because you did I didn't want to tell people to do backgrounds for their artworks, but it should be known, kind of, I guess now it will be, that it's going to give you a little bit of, a little bit of edge. It's not a requirement, but if you do some background, that just means you put more effort into your work too. So that's what I'm saying. And you did put that bit of background. So I think on effort you were good. I think your main drop was probably comparatively skill. And skill comes down to, so out of 5 points, how I would judge skill. 1 being stick figure. That's it. Stick figure, no real forms. A 2 maybe forms. 3, if we're going black and white, is decent forms and okay coloring. 4 is pretty good shading and pretty good forms with details. And then 5 is just the best you can find out there. That's as far as skill goes. Considering you have not much shading in there and all that, I'm not going to break it down more than that, but that's why for yours, what did I give you? A 3, yeah. And that makes sense with how I just described it. If you had a lot more blending, shading, highlights, things like that, there's actually no shading on yours other than the glow from the mushrooms. So, and there is a little bit of shadow there.
Shading of the wings and the body itself.
Right, there's a little bit of shadow. There are shadow points, and
to be fair, if that is the criteria, I'm quite impressed you gave me so high because I am generally shit at drawing.
Right. Not right, but I understand. So yeah, and I never saw you draw much, and I was actually, from not seeing what you've drawn to this, I was kind of impressed with what you came up with. I can imagine how you came up with this and the quality of the gecko. I'm not going to say it now. But I can imagine how you got to that point. The point is you put in the effort, and I'm sure, it was beneficial for you to learn and skill. But that's the breakdown.
I do try. I do apologize to the audience if this is boring for you guys, because I know we all want to do Dark Lords. I was just curious.
Yeah, no worries. And Chris, if there's an area there you think that it should be higher, let me know.
No, with everything that has been explained, I'm perfectly fine.
Yeah. A large part of these was creativity and skill and effort. Well, because I was 15 points from each one of us, so that's 30 points alone is creativity, effort, and skill. Those are the main ones. Next year, I plan on... So anyway, guys, apart from Chris, this is the stuff I wanted to talk about here, because Louis did participate as well, and Raincrawler's there. Hey, Raincrawler. I'm going to be mentioning you in a moment, too. I'm going to be adding more, I think, criteria of judgment next year. I'm so glad because this year we didn't have a tie. I was so expecting a tie because I already got a 3-way tie when I was judging myself, and then I had to really break them down before giving everything to Blue Worm, because I didn't want to have that tie. But I thought he's going to be totally on the same page as me, and he wasn't. He was on a kind of a different page, Blue Worm. And that was exciting for me because he was seeing things I weren't. And I think he was totally justified about that. For example, which is one of my favorite pieces, but it is the second one, is this one by Ash Ray. That one wasn't in my top 3. In my top 3, I had actually, I am not sure if Mark Peters above, but another one. But I had a different top 3. I had Donde in the top 3. The only one that we both had in the top 3 kind of that was the same was Donde. And that's obvious why Donde won then, because it was a mutual thing. But the second 2 actually were surprised to me how they won, because they weren't even in that position when I finished my judgment, and that's great. And I think this one totally deserves it. The third one was again in third place, and you guys, I'm not showing a lot of images. He sent me more than this image, but he made a 3D model. And that's a pretty decent 3D model. It's not the best in polygon count and such, and in the positioning that he did even in the other render. But that's a lot of effort, and I'm glad it made it to the top 3. It wasn't, again, when I was doing the judging, but I think it does deserve it. And obviously made it to the top 3 because I gave these 2 enough points to get them there as well. So Blue Worm just edged it up there. So that was really cool.
That is perfectly fine.
Let me see. Did you see any of the artworks? Did you see the results video?
I did not. I have been horribly busy as of late with some commissions and jobs, and too busy just settling down into the job and getting over the fact that job taking up so much of my time and energy. So, yay, job.
No, I hear you.
Congratulations.
I hear you.
From
See,
one working man to another.
just don't get overly stressed, guys, with that time management. All right, so going over the YouTube, Louis saying 5th place minis. Did you get fit? What was that, 5th, Louis? I guess so, huh? Let's see here. So here's Louis. Louis did the sculpt. This is, I think, the second time in the year he did a sculpt for the contest, which is always fun because nobody else does 3D stuff except this year. Obviously, Jonathan did with the digital one. So, but Louis was pretty cool this year. I really liked it. It was colorful. It was pretty creative. So there we have it. There's Louis. If you want more of a breakdown, Louis, let me know. Then let's see. So that's what you were saying, Pro. Did you want to mention any favorites of yours, or was that no? Okay, you just changed your pick. Let me see here. So another one that I wanted to mention, I really, really liked. I'll admit it. Again, nothing against anybody else, but I really liked this one. And this was actually by Raincrawler. And if you guys know Raincrawler, he posts a bit of his work here in the creating monsters. And that's for no reason why I mention him. I mention him because his has to be the top out of all of them for probably detail and one of the most creative ones. This one was insane. I totally loved it. His and Mark Peters, the other black and white one that I showed above. Mark Peters has a really clean approach, but very creative about him. Raincrawler, he has a gritty thing going, and it's just intense. If you look at how the fungus affects it, it's basically a fungus creature. It's got a fungus heart. All this, and then you add in the other traits. You obviously have a satanic leaf-tailed gecko in there. Pretty awesome. Again, those, why didn't they make it up? Just because of the competition, really. I mean, I can't say much for them. They lack color, but you weren't required color. So, just the competition and how everything ran out with the numbers. Somebody mentioned here. Who mentioned shelves, hot pencils? Where are you? Where are you? We'll be done here in a moment about this, guys. If you can tread through this, we did start on time today, so we have this little moment to go different topic. Who said that? Louis. Yes. So here's shelves, hot pencils. One. Okay, so Shelves Hot Pencils won like the 3 last contests as the top place or something. So he's been winning a lot. Part of the reason he wins a lot of these is he puts a lot of effort and brainstorming into the works. He always sends me the concept art and the workup, how he got to that image with sketching and words, and he does a pretty good job with it. More so than I see a lot of people entering these contests so far, but people are getting better and more are entering. So here, Shelves, you said it was an interesting one, Louis. I agree. If you notice, Shelves one, it had everything's clear except for the fungus part. Can someone tell me, where do you see the mushroom or fungus part within Shelves, this latest one I have up now? No idea. Okay, everybody's quiet. It's on the bottom. It's the butt end of it. That's the like mushroom opening, and it's basically like a jet engine thing. Yeah, the tail. You got it, Raincrawler. So it's a pretty original idea. It looks pretty original compared to a lot of the others. I personally not a fan, says Pro. I think where Shelves fell short this year is he chose not the best positioning, because he actually showed me other positionings when he was working toward this final piece, and they looked better. So be careful, guys, because sometimes, and I saw that with a couple of works, like in their construction of it, their artworks actually the positioning actually looked better. It wasn't finished because they were brainstorming. So make sure you choose a good positioning. If you're not sure, make quick little thumbnail sketches of positionings and ask other people, hey, which one do you like, A, B, or C? And have them vote on that. Because I think this one, it's all cool, but he had a better, I think, more interesting angle. So I'm personally not. Yeah, the positioning is pretty bad here. Okay, so on that, unless does anybody have anything else to share on something they liked? Any questions? I'll wrap this up slowly.
So far, no questions from me. I'm perfectly fine and content with the information you provided.
Excellent. I can go on presenting other ones I like, but I don't want to overdo that. I asked everybody to do 1 or 2, and that's what I did myself. But let it be known, there are others I enjoyed very much as well. Okay, maybe I'll throw one more out. I'll come to that last. So, hey, Sombra. Welcome. And this one, I think, what's his name? Blue Worm pushed this one up a little bit with me, which I think earned it. I did enjoy this one. This one was pretty original, too, a little bit different. But then a lot of them were. I want to mention this one real quick just because it's the oddest design, and I definitely had to give it full creativity points because there was nothing else like this one. If it just was better rendered, a bit more finished, a little bit more, it would have been up higher. But as far as creativity and how they came up with the look, well, that's pretty awesome, actually. It's got that more simplified, cartoony look, but pretty cool. So that's that. Here's the final list, which was Dande, Mushroom Dragon. Right, because Mushroom was a big deal, and this guy, yeah, that was just a cool one. And then there's the finalist, Dande, which just won by points. I originally loved Dande's too. If he wouldn't be in the top 3, I would probably mention him too, because it was just cool. But it's a very nicely rendered piece. I think what Dande did this year more than he's ever done is he completed it more. He made the background, so that definitely adds to the effort, which he probably would have already gotten with the creature because it's fully rendered. It's got the textures, it's got details, it's got color. which, again, aren't requirements. But speaking of which, so, also Griffins is a good one. This is Raincrawler. Griffins was a cool one right here, guys. See that one? Griffo, one of our most active members here over on the Discord. There we go. She had the tongue, the mushroom tongue, which was awesome. And I like how she presented it. So this is what I'm saying, guys. This is a good example. Is for next year, keep in mind that only one of your images is going to really count. Okay? This is like going into a lot of other art contests out there. It's all about the final image, the full render of it, and how you present it. It's like selling an artwork. You're not selling bundles of it. You're going to sell one masterpiece. So think of it that way. So make sure you get one great shot, the best shot, especially if you're working with something physical and you're taking a photograph. But if you're drawing, just make that one shot count, because that's what the other judges are going to see unless they request more, which they usually don't. So that's a big part of it. And so what I'm saying...
I mean, there are people out there that can do that, but it's not usually big.
Do what?
Commission more things.
Right,
What
right.
did I miss?
It's just when things are getting judged, they're going to be looking at one thing. Because I get write-ups, on the side that the artists send me write-ups. They send me step-by-step images. They show me different angles. That's cool. I get to see that, but I can't be biased with that stuff, to be honest. I still have to judge one of those pieces that you send me, one of those images, the main one, because that's what the artist will see as well. And that gets tough because sometimes I see an image and it's not that great. I send it to the other judge and they're just going to see that image, but they don't know that you wrote up all this cool stuff about it. That has to be because it was a visual
more
type.
about the visual.
Yeah, it's a visual type contest. Now, contests may vary and some can include write-ups. But when it's a visual contest where it's just the artwork, then if you have such info, guys, the best way I think you can incorporate it is like Griffo did here in that kind of style, that kind of researcher artwork type style where you write up, next to your creature, why and what, if you want to do it that way. Otherwise, just render it the best you possibly can, put in as much effort, make a background unless we specifically ask not to make a background. Do all that because it will help you at least the background on the effort side. Okay, so I hope that helps for future competitions and understanding how, I guess my personal approach to the competitions is as well, but I do think it's pretty default-ish as far as art contests go. The criteria I'm thinking of adding so that we have less ties next year. Again, we didn't have a tie this year finally, but I did with myself. And I want to avoid that. I want to make things more clear that this one's better than this one because of this in numbers. Everything comes down to numbers. That's what I love about judging, is that you can compute everything. So the criteria I'm thinking of adding is maybe color, if we do another visual one, right, for future visual ones. Maybe more points for creativity, especially for something like this. Instead of just 5, make it like 8 or something, make it higher than the others. Maybe something for color, but if I do for color and color is not required, then it'd be like 2 points. Either you colored it really well, or you didn't. And then have another criteria maybe for detail, and it'd be the same like color because it's not required, right? So for detail, you'd have probably like 2 points or 3 to make it equivalent with color for those people that only draw but don't color. Because color should have an impact, but it shouldn't make something better than something else, but it should have an impact. And to have an impact, it should have a scoring somewhere. So again, maybe 1 point for color, either color 1 point or no, 0. So it just affects the scoring 1 point, which is very little, but it has an impact. I think coloring should have an impact, and I think detail should have an impact. So I will think about those more. Talking about it now, I'm thinking doing 2 points for each. 2 points if you colored or not, and 2 points if you put a lot of detail or not. Because I think that can give you just that little bit of an edge. And 1 point, I want to do this for the judge to give 1 point to the one that they think deserves to be first place or that they love the most. Just a totally biased 1 point that the judges can use, especially if there's a lot of points. This year we had 44 total, but say there's over 50 points in judgment. That one is going to make very little difference, but I think it's just a fun point to confidently or comfortably put at someone just because you think that they did an amazing job. Okay, so those three criteria, I'm thinking of adding all three or one of them. I'm not sure yet, but let me know your thoughts. And yeah, I'm sending the energy back to you guys because I know when you sit there and listen, it just drops and it's hard to talk again. So go ahead.
It is delightful to listen to, and I very much so appreciate that you took out of your time to explain all that to us.
Cool. Now, Chris, and if you can talk a little louder like you were before, unless you really can't.
How about this?
That's a lot better. Okay. So, and I'll ask Beth next and see, and then we'll get going. So, Chris, with those criteria I was thinking about adding, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, having more options for points is indeed good. It is a double-edged sword because people be like, "Oh, there's so much criteria. I'm going to score a lot of points," and then they score very low points. It kind of depresses them.
Right.
But joking aside, overall, I do approve of the thoughts that you have, and specifically that 1 point of bias.
Yeah, I think that's a good one.
Definitely.
Let's see here, broken frame. And like you said, Chris, about the points and how the results can make you feel, I gotta say, guys, and I said it before, I said it in the video at least twice. That's brave. To go into these contests it's just brave. I've done art in the past. I haven't been doing much in the last couple years, but I've done a lot in the past. As much as, all these people on here, I went to school partially for art as well, right? So I've done a lot of art, but I've never actually entered, until after like high school, I've never willingly entered competitions. I never have. I probably was lazy, procrastinating, and it's probably I wasn't maybe gutsy enough too to hear or see that maybe I'm not really that great compared to these people, because in my mind I thought I could be the best. I didn't think I was the best, but I thought I could be, and that was enough. And that kind of overconfidence can ruin it. Go ahead.
Well, I never had the confidence to really, find anything that I really wanted to motivate myself.
Right. Yeah, that could be another thing. If you know you're not going to be totally the winner, then it's hard to motivate yourself to even go into the contest. Wait a minute. Donde has his microphone on. He has his microphone on. Look at that. It's not off.
Donde speaketh to us.
Oh, he's typing.
Is this because I said
come
the
on,
trapeze
Donde.
was not my favorite?
He was listening in the background the whole time. He's like, before he joins in, I want to hear their thoughts about mine first. So, what was I saying? So yeah, it takes guts to enter these things. A lot of motivation. And if you know you're not going to be top 3 and win the prize, it's really hard to get in. So I really, really praise those people that get into my competitions and they sort of know they're not going to be in the top 3, but they still give an outstanding job, or they try their hardest. I really respect that because I have never really done that. And as you can see, C does a lot of art as well, and he doesn't get into that as well. There's a certain blockage there, whatever it may be, whether it's laziness or fear or whatever. There's something there, and other people just go forward and do it, and I think that's awesome, and I think it's an amazing and one of the best ways to really improve your ability, especially if you have an open judge that can review your artwork with you. Come on, what better way to really know? Because one of the problems is, and I had this, and probably C has this, is you make artwork out there, and all your friends and family tell you it's awesome. And that's enough for you.
Yeah.
And that's why you avoid the contest too, because you're like, well, maybe I'm not that awesome. Because in contests, the more there are people, it gets to the professional
In
level.
contest, you can lose.
Yeah, right.
That is true.
You don't get this
Do remember,
biased
kids,
praise.
greed is not a bad thing. It's a great motivator.
It can be.
I mean, I haven't found a prize that is worth going into a contest for in all honesty. Just yet. I mean, nothing I really wanted.
Well, see, folks.
I
That's,
entered into 4 contests this year,
wow.
and I only won 1.
Wow.
He speaketh.
A moment of silence, everyone. A moment of silence. That was Dande's voice, the great Dande, who holds, I forgot to mention, monthly Monster Maker art contests here. Or not challenges, sorry. Welcome, Dande, to the Monstercast.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. All right, so without making them feel more uncomfortable, welcome, Dande, and I guess that's that. So, again, I praise you guys for having the guts to do it. It's a great way to learn. And see, I guess it's because you're earning euros. You got euros over there. When I send you $100 American dollar, it's not that great as into other places or even in America. So damn your euros.
Danish crowns, mind you.
Danish
And I have lever.
It's there still. It's Danish made. Okay,
Made in
guys.
Denmark.
Since I'm pretty much done, Dande, I hope you can listen to the beginning of this. We kind of reviewed our favorites of the year other than the top 3. I wanted people to express their opinions about others. And I added my own stuff and reviewed Chris's artwork. So I do hope that you can watch the beginning of this video as I covered all that and some advice for how I particularly judge and how you can enter these contests next year. But Dande, with that, do you have any questions or anything you'd like to say, or maybe a specific artwork that you liked the most that wasn't in the top 3 maybe? Or you liked a lot?
Actually don't remember who made it, but the people that were submitting the artwork onto the creative channel, I thought, oh man, they're really pulling it up this year. I have to work really hard.
Let's see. So we had the people of our Discord. We have Beth's here. We have, I don't know if Encaria put his up in the creating art. His was pretty creative there. I have to hand it to him. Beth's already heard a lot that I've said about hers. What I do also particularly like about Beth's is she did go black. She did go black, and not many people did that. And that's a hard thing to do and make it come out very well. And this one, Mark Peters, which I already mentioned. So maybe Dande, that's one of them. And I'm not sure if Raincrawler put his in creating, but again, this is one of my favorites as well. Awesome work.
That anatomy, though.
Yeah, all the creations that people made this year for the contest looked really great.
Right on. Did you have any questions about the contest? Otherwise, anything else?
None at the moment.
Okay. Alrighty. And I
The
did.
only thing that I would mention is that I didn't intend to use any winnings for this to sponsor my up-and-coming comic book project that I'm thinking of releasing, but I'm likely going to try to transition into a Patreon or Subscribestar for that. But please don't mind me using the stream to the Voice of the Monsterhood to shill a little bit for that from time to time, Arthur.
No. Everybody here is welcome to push their other things, do their shameless plugs. You guys are all welcome, even if they're not completely monster relevant, but it's a personal or something that can raise you up in life in some way. You are all welcome to do that. Let me cover this since Dande said this is the first one. Dande, you said this is the first art contest ever that you won first place?
Yeah, I've entered into like a bunch of them, and I've either came out second or didn't make the top 3.
Gotcha. I think you really deserved it this year. I saw that from the start. It's tricky because
Sorry, I'm upstairs.
when I get these submissions, I see them immediately. It's not something I can unsee, you know? So, like, the first submission I saw this year was this one by a Big J. And I was already impressed. I was like, oh, damn, this is going to be a cool contest. And so after that, you know, you're kind of comparing everything to what you're already seeing without doing an official judgment, you know. Then when you finally and then I try not to look at them anymore at all until the judgment day, so I can have a more balanced look at everything. But definitely Donde, as Pro said there, his Predator last year was my favorite, and I love this year's one too. I have to agree, and that's why I'm doing this today, because last year's submission, here, I'll actually show you guys. First place was Shelves, which he put in a hell of a lot of effort and work into and all that, and did a good job. But, and I'm going to say this here because I can't do this on the videos because it'll be totally wrong. But my favorite, and I tried to let Donde know without being too upfront and kind of jerky about it to other artists, although I was private messaging him, that actually his was my favorite. And that's this one. Right there. I really loved it. There's more to the background with the other one. The reason why, Donde, if you don't mind, and if Shelves doesn't mind, I just want to be honest with how this worked out. With Donde's presentation last year, from my side of the judgment, he actually was first. From AJ's, I can say Shelves was first, and it was a tie. And then I brought that tie to the community, and the community voted on Shelves. So that's the community pushed Shelves a little forward. And I didn't want to do a community judge this year because, one, it's not a big number. When I put these in the community place for voting, the most I get maybe 30 people voting on a piece, and that's not that many out of, you know, our 85 almost 1,000 subscribers, and a lot of them aren't artists too, you have to figure. So it wasn't totally fair, but in a different way it was fair, right? So this year I tried to avoid community. In the future I will as well, by adding those criteria that I mentioned earlier. And Donde, you just pushed yourself out there totally this year with the complete rendering of your work, the whole background, everything. It was really beautiful. Let's see. Hey.
Yeah, I think you might want to, when you re-upload the stream, you'll want to split it in two. One part is us talking about the contest, and the other is the actual monster voices.
Right. Should I just stop it now and restart it?
I don't know. Please keep going if you wish.
I'm back.
I see no issue with this.
Cool. And I know, actually, as far as when we go live here in voice, other than Monstercast, topics end up being very artsy, so I'm sure the people on Discord don't mind too much.
I'm just upset I missed most of it.
Yeah, just rewatch that beginning. Donde, please rewatch the beginning if you guys care about the contests and such. Bethany, I didn't give you that chance to speak now. I'm sorry. But what is your kind of favorite other than the top 3 that you liked this year from somebody else, if you have one?
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
All of them are good, in my opinion.
Okay. And did you have any, since you were here at that point, did you have any ideas or thoughts about me adding those criteria?
Well, it's if you really want to push the artist.
Right.
But if you push too much, it might not be as great as they thought it would be. Like if you put pressure on them, it usually degrades the artwork. Because I know that from experience. When people push me to do something, my artwork just turns to crap.
Right.
That is fair.
Yeah, so I'm not saying pressure, just adding more criterias for judgment. Artists wouldn't necessarily have to know that coming in. It's just something to better break down the artworks.
Hmm.
So, alrighty.
Yep.
And a final bit while Dande's here and everybody, remember guys, I'll repeat this one last time and then we'll get started with the Dark Lords finally, is that this one was a visual art contest. Visual art contest. That means one piece will be judged fully. And that's important as people send me concept arts of how they worked up to that piece and different positions and angles of their creature. That all doesn't matter. What matters is that one piece. I will see those, but the other judge won't. I will only send them one final piece, your masterpiece, because I don't want to overload them with stuff in their mail. And they usually don't have time. And if they want to see more, they can request it from me. And I always tell them that they can. Because people do whole write-ups and all this stuff, and some write-ups are better than their creature creation, and that should count, but it doesn't because this was a visual art contest. So remember, if I ever do, or any other really competitions, this is kind of a default thing, do a visual art contest, you need to make sure that one piece, especially if you're taking a photo of a sculpt or something, is the best you can possibly get, and get it good. If you're taking a photo of a sculpture you made, your sculpture is amazing, but your photograph sucks, it's on an old phone, make it better. Try your best. Put a black background to it. Move out the pencils and junk in the background. It's like a YouTube video. You want to make it look good. Clean up and put a lot of light. Your phone or whatever device will always work better with the more possible light. Don't take a picture in the lowly lit dark room. It's going to look like shit always with a crappy camera. Put in as much light as you can. Your camera will adjust. Mess around with the saturation settings. Come on, all new smartphones you can do that with to make it look the best possible. If you're not sure which one's the best, send me a few of them and I will choose the best one that I think, and that's the one I will send to the judge. But again, that'll be my opinion at that point, so keep that in mind. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Let's proceed.
Concluded with the part 1 of this stream.
Yes, part 1.
The next video.
Contest. Mancurious
I
said,
just didn't know what to say to this part, I'll be honest with you. Dark Lords is more specialty for me than contests.
well, you are a good artist too, see, so you are good too. Okay. This 56th Monstercast, we're talking about Dark Lords. Let's introduce everybody, and then I'll introduce the topic, and we'll go from there. So, welcome to our Monstercast, Bethany.
Hey,
Welcome, Dande, or Dando. Let's see.
Hello.
Donda.
Welcome, Darth Phoenix in the chat. Dio in the chat. Chris Chu in voice. Yellow. Procrastitron in chat. And C.
Hello! I like
Over on YouTube, we also have Joseph Dish. Welcome. Still not sure if this was your first. I'm not sure if you replied. Raincrawler, welcome. I hope you enjoyed all that praise. Louis Zenadog, welcome back again, and hope you enjoyed that. And Louis, I didn't really get into yours. Let me know if you wanted me to. I can do it quick or later. And yours as well, Raincrawler. Okay, with that, let's get going. This is a topic presented by Procrastitron. So I'm going to ask you, Procrastitron, can you hear me? Quick replies. Because I know you're on phone. That's me. Okay. Gluten Tag. Bro, let me know. What did you mean exactly by Dark Lords? How can we specify this? Is it just a leader that's a monster, or does it have to be armored? Because when I think of Dark Lord, I always think of these dark, armored, chaos-type warriors. But it doesn't have to necessarily be that. Could it be a wizard? So what criteria does it have to be legit for today's talk? Deal.
Is it dark, or is it the Lord? What is a Lord exactly? Is it evil? Or is it just, does it just like darkness?
Reminds
Clearly,
me.
the name Dark Lord indicates that it'd be evil in some way.
Yes,
Right.
original.
Not
theme,
necessarily.
but a
There
Dark
are
Lord can also be entertaining in many ways.
I want to slap you.
Louis and Rain, if you guys want to hear more about your artworks and how I judge them, you can stay till the end of the Monstercast. I'll talk about them then. I have 2 shares also that are outside of the stream that I'm going to share on behalf of Louis and JMPF for the Dark Lords. This reminds me of old SNL. Talk amongst yourselves. Dark Lords, are they dark or are they lords? Talk amongst yourselves.
Well, personally, I would say that the best thing to describe a Dark Lord would be the defining, what's it called? Article? What was his name again? I have it on the tip of. I thought about it before. Morgoth? No.
Morgoth.
Yes, do you mean his bitch boy Sauron?
Yeah, I mean, Sauron is, nice and all. The first Dark Lord I saw, I wasn't there the second one, but the thing is that he is the defining article for me. I would say that he is the thing that decided that he was a darker power that wanted to control everything, that wanted to, all essentiality, do bad stuff to the rest of the world and take it over, and decided that it would be his now, ruled through tyranny and absolute power with fear and violence as a preliminary side effect of his imminent rulership.
I just see him as a big bitch.
Okay, that's also a place to put it.
Alrighty.
Yeah, Sauron, he was fun the first time and quite scary then, but then you learn about Morgoth and what a boss he is, and Sauron kind of just meh.
All right, so let's see what ProRed or said. By the way, guys, real quick before I forget, Donde has his monthly art challenges that we run through the Discord here. If you want to join, you're welcome to. We also kind of review them at a Monstercast when we can. I don't think we had a chance to last time, Donde. I don't remember, or maybe you weren't there, but we did. But this month's he has Farm Monsters. Is that still in progress, Donde?
Yeah, that's still in progress until the 29th.
Awesome.
Remind me what a farm monster is. I feel like that's relevant.
Like anything to do with a farm.
So old MacDonald's being a zombie.
Could be something like that.
Yeah, anything farm related. I know Bethany went with the Chupacabra theme. So yeah, it can be pretty creative. I like that theme idea actually. It leaves a lot for the imagination. It goes to a different place.
Yeah. It's open to any medium, art or
I honestly can't write.
Very cool.
And I can draw. Would you like to team together?
Sure.
Nice.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Sorry.
So the 29th, they will be going over those, just presenting them and talking about them over here on Discord, and hopefully we can catch that sometime after on the Monstercast and show those live. Okay, so Pro said on Dark Lords. Essentially an evil person that holds some form of power over a place of power. Basically your run-of-the-mill bad guys like Darth Vader, Voldemort, I said it, Sauron, and Skeletor, etc. Okay. Anybody raise their hand to go first?
I would like to go a little bit later, as I am trying to see if one man and his dog can kill a bunch of werewolves and ghosts.
Excuse me, what?
What game is that?
I'm trying to solo a dungeon in WoW Classic.
Ugh,
Jesus
sounded much
Christ.
cooler than it came out.
I mean, if I imagine that dog and boy standing for like 5 minutes and casting spells and cool down, I probably wouldn't have guessed it sounded. You made something that shouldn't be cool sound cool.
See, that's why I'm good at writing.
If
Fuck
it
off,
worked out to
Chris.
be Witcher or something, I'd be satisfied, but all right. Chris, no, I'd like to. Okay, Pro's going first. Thank you, Pro. Throw it out. Or vomit it out. Poop it out. Spit it out. Whatever you got to do, as long as it looks presentable. He says I
honestly can't even
have
think of one.
3 Dark Lords with short descriptions for each. Okay, let's go. After that, I think I'll move up the list or down the list. What do you guys suggest? I move up the list or down the list? You guys on YouTube, what do you think? You see the
Whatever
names here?
strikes your fancy.
I'm gonna say Wheel of Torture.
Wheel of Torture, he says. All right, let's get that loaded up.
Spin me, daddy.
No.
There we go. Nice
Now there
image.
needs to be a gif of you on a wheel just spinning.
Awesome
I'm
Xbox
sure
game.
someone will make it.
Here we go. Pro says the Overlord is the title for the dark and powerful beings who rule territories of the world. They're usually savage warriors. They can summon and control armies of minions from the underworld through a special gauntlet and have power of magic at their fingertips.
You mean Thanos?
No, I mean this one in the picture. From the game Overlord. Awesome game. Any fans of Overlord? Say huzzah.
Never heard of it before. Actually.
Never heard of
Sorry.
it.
Oh, wow, really?
I don't think I have.
It was big when
Only
it
the
came
anime.
out. No,
Oh,
it,
same.
He has a weird looking head.
it was big when it came out, and then I guess it died quick, but it was one of the top for the time Xbox games. It's a Microsoft game. It rocks. You run around as the Overlord, and you keep summoning minions, and they run forth and pillage houses for you. You send them. It was a really cool mechanic, and I really want to play it again someday.
Yeah, that game. Oh,
Yeah, and you had
I
a
never
lot of
played it
them.
myself, but I heard about it.
Doesn't it mean that they're a necromancer or something?
They weren't
yeah.
undead. They were just minions.
Just like goblin-like thingamajigs.
Yeah. And later you got better minions that could, I think, shoot ice and shoot fire, and you just put them out of position and they would fire. But you got a good amount of them. Not like other games where you get like 1 or 2 pets. You had like 10 of them.
Hold on. Do you mean to say that they shot stuff out of their eyes, or they shot eyes, as projectiles?
Ice as an opposite of fire.
Aha. I don't know why I heard eyes. Okay, next monster. It shoots eyes as a projectile.
Ooh, that's a good Monstercast. Eye shooting monsters. All right, next one by Pro is Darth Revan, hero, traitor, conqueror, villain, savior, a Jedi who left Coruscant to defeat Mandalorians and return the disciple of the dark side, bent on destroying the Republic. The Jedi Council gave Revan his life back, and the price of redemption was high. His memories have been erased. All that's left are nightmares and a deep abiding fear. More interesting than Darth Vader at this point. Anyone know of this one?
I mean,
Nope.
Was he featured in the movie?
He's from a video game.
Okay.
I think that's Old Republic.
Yep.
So, Star Wars Old Republic video game. Traitor, Conqueror, Villain, Savior. I love that title. And hero. It's like Gladiator or Conan. Definitely makes for an interesting character. I don't know. I haven't been watching the new Star Wars movies. I don't have much interest in the franchise. Sorry if that offends someone. I just haven't had a developing interest until I probably make some monster video. But
the new ones are not worth it. Just watch the original ones, the prequels, Clone Wars, preferably done by Genndy Tartakovsky, and the expanded universe. You don't need anything else.
there you go. I would say if they made a movie like this, about a character like this, that's broken, that's different, that's dark and light, that would be an interesting take on the Star Wars universe, and they could definitely go a grittier, darker way, which some movie producers have been having some success with. That would be a cool Star Wars film to see, I think. character like this one, Revan. Procrastitron's third one is Frieza, which was the emperor of the universe who controlled his own imperial army and was feared for his ruthlessness and power, but was taken
That
out
was a complete Duddy's girl.
his girl power when he was, it says he was killed
Yes,
by future
it
Trunks and
says a
Goku.
he, but he.
Don't worry, he came back in a few less more pieces, but yet he came back.
Frieza was a cool, just a cool concept. There's a lot of cool concepts in Dragon Ball Z that you don't see in live action movies, and something like Frieza, I think that's a fresh thing to see if they do it well in a live action movie, especially for all those people that aren't aware of Dragon Ball Z and would get into Dragon Ball Z because of Frieza, like what Marvel did with their movies. And I think it's time for that because Dragon Ball Z is
because
getting
Dragon
old.
Ball did cinematic movies so well. We all
There's that
know.
awesome one on YouTube, the fan made
But
one.
we don't talk about the Shyamalan Z.
And we don't talk about the live action one that
Shyamalan.
was made. Okay, that one. But I don't know if you guys have seen the one on YouTube. There's an awesome fan made one. It's amazing. It's awesome, and it shows Goku eating the rice at the end. Such a happy moment. Anybody seen that one? Know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
Google it, guys, or yeah, remind me. It's pretty awesome. It's better than that other so-called movie. So anyway, I think Frieza would be an awesome villain to show on the big screen these days. I think it would be a fresh take and yeah, would get a lot of interest. What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, could be good if it was done well, but I don't want to get my hopes off.
Well, what do you guys think of these three that Pro presented?
Well, the only one that I know from, I only know Frieza and Rafan, and I have to say Revan. I mean, and Revan is actually care about because he's genuinely badass and awesome. Frieza's, they did him better in the abridged series, but he's generally kind of a
They did everything better
was.
in the bridge series.
true.
How about you, Beth? Do you have a favorite out of these three?
I guess the Star Wars one.
Okay. And do you want to say why? Do you have a reason why?
Mainly just the looks.
Okay. And Dande, do you prefer any of the one of these three?
I don't really know any of the three because I'm not really big on Dragon Ball Z or Star Wars. But the Star Wars one looks pretty neat because I think I've heard of him prior to.
Nice. And how about you, C?
Well, I don't quite. I
You
really
don't
don't
find
know.
one? Hmm.
I think I zoomed out. What was the question again?
Which one of these three do you like the most?
Oh. Hmm.
You can just go off of appearance if you have to.
That would
Keep
be
it simple.
Frieza because, you know,
Alright.
it's fucking Frieza. He's
on.
literally the villain of my childhood.
Nice. I think I'm going to give it to the
You are
Overlord.
literally a year younger than me. How is he the villain of your childhood?
Because I watched Dragon Ball when I was smaller. And read it when I was
You-
older. And realized it was a big mess, but hey, it was fun. It was a
I
fun
guess
big
you-
mess.
Well, technically, I can say that you live in a Western country. Where I'm from, when I was little, our television was like 10 years behind the West because recently taken down communism, things were slowly came into view. So when I was young, I watched Allo Allo, the TV series from Monty Python, and that is to this day my most favorite TV series of all time.
What TV series from Monty Python?
Yep, Allo Allo, about French revolutionaries that work in a restaurant during Nazi times and try to subvert the Germans and liberate
Nice.
France.
I didn't know of that. Kudos to you, Chris. You grew up with some good comedy at least.
It reminds me of JoJo for some reason, but that's probably just the Nazis.
It is, in my opinion, this is objectively the best TV series ever. even though it's a comedy.
Okay, let's see. I got into DBC later than most people at that time, and I liked it. Let's see. Rain says Trunk fought against Cell. Louis says Darth, and it's pronounced Ravin, apparently. Ravin or Ravine, Pro says. Darth Raven reminds me of Galen Marek. Both characters control the dark and the light side of the Force. Galen Marek. Huh. Something not many know. Obviously, huh. If somebody knows of that, shout out. Okay, and let's move forward. Let's spin that wheel. Everybody's on the wheel. If you're on the wheel and you have nothing to share, then that's fine. Just say it. Here we go. Let's spin it. Louis, Donde, C, Beth, and... Oh, it just crossed in both yellows to Darth. Darth in text. What do you have to share today? Do you have anything to share on Dark Lords? Come on, look at your name. You've got to have something, Darth. Ganondorf. What's that? Am I missing something?
Legend of Zelda.
Oh, okay. So it's legit.
Oh, is it the weird, creepy dude?
Yep.
The pig guy.
What did you want to say about Ganondorf, Donde? Darth? They're both D's.
The double D's.
Is dwarf. He's a dwarf. He's not a dwarf. He's a dwarf. He looks pretty cool.
Excuse me. Did you just say Ganondorf is a dwarf? Okay, I'm gonna take that as a personal insult to the entirety of the dwarven race in all of fiction.
I
said
he
he's a
meant that all
dwarf, not a
dwarves are
dwarf.
Pigs.
There's his image. He looks pretty
Okay,
awesome.
Even more.
That is his incarnation during the Twilight Princess.
Yeah, that was the Twilight Prince.
Okie dokie. Whatever.
My favorite game, actually.
Okay, so that's the game. Is this his best presentation, you think?
I mean, there is worse out there, but I will be honest, this is probably his most cinematical Dark Lord. All of the other ones are kind
There's
of
also
weird.
There's also the animal version of him, which was like a hog
Pig,
thing.
a ginormous pig.
I don't know. Hog pig thingy.
There's C presented all four of them.
A demon pig,
Not
specifically.
just four, but these are
but
some
just
of them.
different takes.
He usually has a different form with it that is a giant pig, because that was what he would look like in the first game.
Well, he
A
looks
giant
very
demon pig. Demon
Japanese
pig.
inspired.
That's an important.
Yes, but
Yeah, there's
that,
different
it's still a
versions of those
pig.
different
I mean,
games.
it's demon bacon, but you still bacon.
I'd eat it.
Okay, who can tell us about Invoice particularly? Who can tell us more about who Ganondorf is? It's not a
Well,
canon dwarf.
Well,
not a king, he's not a
Ganondorf
dwarf.
is the embodiment of evil in the Legend of Zelda timelines, and all of them actually. Most of them, not the main villain of all of them, but most of them.
Will he ever
see.
die?
He dies a lot. If you're surprised, he dies every single game. Most games. He's
Castlevania's
literally the what's it called?
Classical boss.
Evil guy, the Dark Lord, the guy that took over the Hyrule and decided to rule it.
Darth
Yeah,
He
says
also high when he ruled it.
he is a demon king and the king of Gerudo, a race that lives in the desert and are all female, and it's a boar. Nice.
So not only is he a king, but he also has the best odds on Tinder. What a jackass.
Leader of desert race. What does he look like in game then? I just realized we're talking about Zelda here, which is great. It's a classic. But what does he look
Mhm.
like in game? I know it's not going
I
to be
think
nearly
this
that cool.
I think this is his Smash Ultimate version. Just post that. I think it is. It looks way too
Ooh.
clean.
I think that's the one that's
Yeah, that's awesome.
in Twilight game.
His current edition, because I think this is his.
Hold on a second.
I mean, it's based upon his Twilight Princess one.
Huh. Wow, that's a cool
Think.
cosplay.
I can't even say his name on here. God damn.
Ganondorf.
Find an
Sorry.
image of him
I
in game.
accidentally looked up Gandalf.
Gandalf.
Oh, Okay, I can't find an image
the
of him in
Demon
game.
King of Hyrule.
Now, the game Zelda makes me think of Final Fantasy. Just for classics. So, real quick, guys, shout out Zelda or Final Fantasy. What is your guilt
Neither.
pleasure? Neither. Okay. Anything else? 3, 2,
hold on a second.
1. Zelda. Okay, we got to do 2 Zeldas. Cool. All right.
I like Zelda.
There we go. Okay, guys, moving forward. Unless we have anything to add on this guy, anything else we need to say about him?
He's a bitch.
All right. That means he's
I
powerful.
would go for not a bitch.
Honestly, his boss battle was annoying.
And Zelda Louis. I totally kicked his butt this morning. Louis says, I totally kicked his butt this morning in The Legend of Zelda, A
With
Link
what?
to the Past. Really? You just played that in the morning? Well, look at that. Look how connected we are. Louis or true Monstroid? What's that, Beth?
Games I'd play a week long, like as soon as I wake up in the morning to when I go to bed. I
I
have
wish
no
you could
life.
stay so dedicated to
Nice.
one thing.
It's because I have no school or a job. I have the time of my life in a day just to waste my life on games.
Lucky. You should live stream. You can make a living with that.
I would, but my mom doesn't want me getting into that.
Why?
She's a strict mother. Like, she doesn't want me to waste money on stuff like that instead of something that would actually be used.
What money are you
She's
wasting?
she's
You already
honestly
have a
not
computer
very
and a
smart
mic.
with technology anyway. Like, before I wanted a PS4, she got me a 360 instead. I'm like asking her, why didn't you get me the PS4? She's like, you already have a PS2. I'm like,
She
stupid.
doesn't get it. Okay. Spinning the wheel.
She doesn't know the difference between the consoles.
Mother
In all
monsters.
fairness, they are equally inferior. Get a PC.
There you go.
I
Well said,
would,
Chris.
but I have a bad habit of having a shitload of
Dio, if you didn't see it, is your turn. Dio, do you have any Dark Lords to share with us today? Master Schnitzel Dio.
Mr. Schnitzel.
He's not a bad guy. Or not the bad guy, it says. Do you have a Dark Lord to share, Dio? Yes or no? Okay, then share it. Post your info, my man.
Hang on.
Oh, schnaps.
At least he gave us a heads up. Keep hanging it, guys. Don't let go. Good job,
I'm
everybody.
dying.
Sorry.
We all stayed hung. We're waiting for Dio. There we go. Beautiful.
The fuck is...
Oh, goodness. A lot of reading. Hey, Beth.
What?
Can you read half of this?
I have a hard time reading. You know that.
Damn it. I'm not going to push Donde into it. Unless he wants to.
I could try, but I'll probably stutter on it.
Go ahead. Do a sentence. Let's see how you do.
What the fuck is that name?
That's a nice start. Just say, is it?
Bergen Lucia Burrett. What the fuck? Is that our... Yeah. I can't even say it. Our answer, whatever the hell. And Sosuk Asian's army in the second as he appears as an elderly man with white hair.
Let me try. May I try?
Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I can't pronounce.
Thank you, Beth.
So, Baragagan Louisa Barden is an Arankar in Sosuke Aizen's army of the Second Espada. He appears as an elderly man with white hair, a scar on his face, and a white beard or mustache. In his true form, he has a crow, a crown, a black coat, and a skeleton-like appearance. He was the original lord/king/ruler of the Hueco Mundo. he got very bored because there was nothing to do until Sosuke Aizen shows up and kills his subordinates and gives him the choice to join the Espadas, which he does because he realized Aizen is much stronger than him when they fought. His weapon is a giant axe, which I find cool because most fighters use swords, bracket katanas, and in the end he gets killed by a wizard kindish guy. But before he completely died, he tried to kill Aizen by throwing his axe, but it just breaks into multiple pieces before it could hit. I like his design and is one of my favorite characters. By the way, the Espadas is a group of fighters Aizen created. Okay, see, convoluted nonsense like this is why I don't watch Bleach. Also, yes, I'm showing off my weeb cred. You can see my pronunciation.
So, what anime is this from? Or
Bleach.
Bleach?
Bleach.
The name of it is basically a suggestion of what you need to do after watching it.
Now, what is
I'd rather-
Bleach about?
Do you mean drinking or showering? Because both would be preferable.
In a sentence or two,
Yes.
what is Bleach about?
Grim Reaper samurais.
Okay, sounds
All I know
cooler
is that
than it is
there's
apparently.
one character there that has a mask or something.
All of them have weird masks.
Like, does he get possessed by it, or
No, they just all get weird masks because weird genetics.
Dio
they get a
said,
mask because of their genetics?
Yes, yes, it is that stupid.
Dio. Now, mind yourself. Remember who Dio is. He said Chris saying Aizen or Aizen made me horny. So, there you
What?
go, Chris.
I do have the one of those voices, so that is correct.
I will say the skeleton appearance with the very big furred coat thing, that's a pretty cool appearance, especially for a lich
I
or
felt
such.
angry twice.
Okay. Anybody here aware of this one? Like him? Any
I
comments?
haven't got a chance to watch it yet.
Okay. Since everybody else is quiet, I'm
I
assuming.
mean, I don't really know what to say to this.
He looks good.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, I didn't expect that.
I meant like the design of the character. That's pretty much all I could say about him. I don't know what his personality is like.
Well, he does look cool, especially in his skeletal form. Even his
Mhm.
unskeletal form, the black and white outfit, I'm really enjoying that with the gold trim. Not bad, not bad.
Anything looks good with black.
Okay. Anyone want to share anything else? No? Yes.
Nope.
Okay. Let's spin that wheel. Thank you, Deal, for sharing. Sounds like a crappy anime, possibly, but a cool villain nonetheless.
It is one. It is technically one of the quote unquote big three, or the original big three, which are Bleach, Naruto, and One Piece.
Oh, I see. Okay. Big mainstream 3, I guess.
Yep, they were at one point the biggest animes in Japan.
Okay.
That's why they get the title of the big three.
Ah.
Weird. I've never heard of
And
this one.
One Piece is still the biggest one, from what I recall.
Alrighty. I'm going to go on to JMPF. I'm going to open a private chat here, so heads up. It's just what JMPF sent me on behalf of this discussion today. And here it is. He says, "Hi, I'm not sure if I could make it to the cast in time again, so here's my Dark Lord. Also, I don't know if I really understood in case I haven't showed up when the voting was done. Yog Sothoth. I thought it's spelled differently, but Yog Sothoth, the all-in-one and all-in-all, is the more important and the leader of the outer gods, being Azathoth's grandson and with his grandfather's mental issues, Yog Sothoth, alongside, I thought it's Sagoth, unless that's another one.
Yark Sototh. That's how I get.
Yog Sothoth.
Is this the same Yark Sototh?
If it's from D&D, I believe, then yes.
No, then it's not.
I'm not sure then. Alongside his psychotic great uncle Nyarlathotep became the bosses. Yog Sothoth is neither good nor evil. He's with everyone who searches knowledge, but everything with a price, helping their benefactor to escape his transdimensional prison. So here you go. It's a tentacled mess of a creature.
Emmaus Mora?
No, this is not.
If that's from Skyrim, that's like who I'm thinking of.
Yeah, that is the Skyrim equivalent. This is just basic whatchamacallit, Lovecraft.
Okay. Wait, so this is Lovecraft, right? Directly.
I think.
Okay.
Because Azathoth is the thing that sleeps and is our everything.
The universe itself is
Yeah, no, you're right.
Azathoth is the universe.
Yeah, I confused it with
When
the
he
ending,
awakes,
but it
it
is
is
yeah.
said that when he awakes, the universe should fall.
Leave it to JMPF to go Lovecraftian on us. Thank you, JMPF. I wish I could give him watermelon right there. Very cool. So neither good or evil. I like it. Anybody have? Well, obviously you guys have heard of this being. There you go. And he says the monster from last week. Last week we did anatomy monsters, if you remember. His last week's monster was the crawling. Oh, I love this one. He would have won for most original, I think, that week. It's the crawling spleen. The crawling spleen was a monster from a fictional B-movie within the Angry Beavers episode Up All Night. It was a failed experiment, a brain eater spleen fused to a thumb. So it's a walking spleen with a thumb. I love it.
That's disgusting.
That does not make sense.
I will show you it. There's a GIF and images.
The
odd
B
reason-
movie for a
Yeah.
reason.
And he says,
For
oh
some
yeah,
reason,
last
that
week.
reminds me of that from the Dead Alive movie by Peter Jackson, where one of the zombies, I guess, lower intestine falls out and
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome movie. Again, shout out to that. 2 weeks in a row. Shout out to Evil Dead. Wait, oh, you're talking about Evil Dead. Yeah, Evil Dead and then Dead Alive is the other one. Let's see. And we had a lot of puns last week because of our topic. So JMPF says, and also my
The
pun.
anatomy of a joke, after all.
Nice game, by the way. Do you have the guts for speaking about a spleen? Nice.
No.
Thank you for the pun. And my
It
favorite
make my
monster-
stomach turn.
Oh, yeah, and he did say his favorite artwork.
All right, guys, let's not get over our heads.
I want to murder you guys.
JMPF
You
also
are
It
incapable.
has already gotten out of hand.
JMPF also shared his favorite artwork of the contest. He said, and my favorite monsters from the contest were Bethany's because of the coloring, and Louis because it looked like Alabria. Who's that? Let me see real quick. Alabria. Louis had the 3D sculpt he made. Ah, so this is Alabria. If you can see that, Louis, very colorful. It's got definitely that Latino background to it. So, right on, Louis. Gracias. Okay, so going back, and Beth's, right? Beth, what I like that you did with yours, I don't want to go back and forth with that, but you did like a 2-color or 3-color scheme on your artwork. And I'm thinking in future art contests, I'm going to do something like that. Like you can only use 2 colors, or you can only use these 3 colors. I think that makes fun rules and borders for a contest or challenge. All right, continuing. Oh, yeah, and here's the spleen with the thumb for you guys on Discord that didn't see. Come on. Yay, there it is. Look at it. Don't you want one as a pet? Look, it's got a poker in the face. Oh, it's so perfect.
Why does it have...
It's going in their ear. I love that it's just going into random places. And why is it on...
I'm going off.
Why is it on
Your
strings?
ear. Yeah, that's what I noticed. Like, why does it have strings?
That's awesome. Don, they just LOL.
They literally
am-
purposely did that just to show how bad it is.
It's so cool.
I am not going to comment on this.
I
Like, you
simply...
can see the string pulling it across the
Yeah.
table.
I love the GIF because it's just so random. First of all, the creature is just so goofy, and then the strings moving it about. Oh, that's the best. JMPF, thank you out there. All right, moving on to the next person. He wins it for the best laugh of the day so far. All right, spinning. We got 4 people left. Maybe I should add myself here too somewhere, I guess. Have a little bit of something maybe to share. Here we go. Spinning the wheel of torture. Everybody's hanging on it on a single wheel. It's weird, but we can talk to each other.
I'm gonna wait before entering this boss room.
Louis Zenadog, it's your turn. So Louis, I'm going to pull up your Facebook there. Share on behalf of Louis. Again, guys, the reason I have other people read sometimes is that you don't constantly hear my voice, because I know how annoying that can get. And how tiring it can get for me. Okay, I'm loading up the images, and they are cool. I'm liking it. I'm liking it, Louis. I'm liking it, Louis. All right, here we go. He says, from the Legacy of Kain series, I have chosen the Blood Omen Kain, the vampire, as my Dark Lord. He was once a nobleman, a knight in the land of Nosgoth. He was out late one night at a bar. Cool start. In one of his travels, the bar owner kicked him out, and where Kain ran into a gang of thugs who murdered him. I'll pause there and put up an image for you. So imagine this guy at a bar. I just love it because the idea of a man named Kain that is a Dark Lord and then a bar. I'm loving the combination so far.
It sounds like a joke.
Right. Kain walks into a bar. And
This guy walks into a bar.
It's just adorable sounding, yes.
Right. He was meant to be the scion of balance and restore the pillars of Nosgoth, but apparently he got drunk. No, I'm kidding. They are a magical land of Mark which hold the land in peace. The necromancer Mortanius resurrected him using hellfire, turning him into a new, very unusual vampire. I think that's this one. And he looks great in that one. And continuing, it's an unusual vampire. Since his heart was missing, a new heart was placed where his used to be. The organ was called the Heart of Darkness and belonged to an immortal vampire called Janus Audron, who only slept when it was removed, but his heart, it continued to beat. Kain cannot touch water because he was created by fire. Cool explanation for that one. Mortanius sent him to kill Kain's assassins and also the now corrupt Pillar Guardians. Upon conquering the Nosgoth as a young vampire, Kain was tasked to sacrifice himself to restore order to the land. He refused the sacrifice and instead became the land's Dark Lord. He is both benevolent, malevolent, but in the end, he was destined to bring order. Nice.
Nice.
This is why he was chosen to be the scion of balance, and in time he would enter a state of change and re-emerge emerge with a new dark gift, and also would look different. Kain is one heck of a Dark Lord, and indeed one you can share the adventure with. Nice write-up. Where is this from again? Legacy of Kain series. Is that an anime or game or both? Wow, no answers. Legacy of Kain, people. What is it?
I do not
It's
know.
a game. Yes, according to Raincrawler, it's a game. And I love the walking spleen. Yes. Video game. Okay. Because I have heard of it. And there's the last image of him as an
I think
Overlord.
it was a game for the play.
Okay. Placed PS game. Right on.
Yeah, the PSX.
Have you heard of this character, Dande?
No, but I've heard of the game.
Okay. All right. I like the changes. It reminded me a little bit of Spawn, how his real life is, well, actually, it was still more epic than this in a way. But then he changed into this much greater thing. And then there's Kane, just this regular vampire guy, or maybe not so regular, I don't know. But then he goes to a bar and attacked by thugs and became this huge, powerful entity. Any thoughts, ladies and gents?
I'm wondering if this is in any way, shape, and inspired by the World of Darkness Vampire the Masquerade.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea. I don't know enough about that.
As in there, the biblical Cain, the guy who kills his brother Abel, he is the very first vampire.
He was
In the
cursed
World
with
of Darkness.
vampirism. By
Mhm.
God.
Yes, and he was, as the first vampire, he was the one who's most OP, so...
All right. And Kane is quite a recurring theme in media. I'd say if it's older, or if it's newer than it, I would say yes. I'm sure they were aware of Masquerade. Even the Village Attacks game I have with the miniature of the vampire, it's very reminiscent of this vampire. The way they designed it, the concept artist. It is a very cool vampire concept art, I think. If you compare it to many vampires, especially these days, there are the cool ones of old, like Dracula, but I am like this white-haired, kind of Witcher-looking newer age of vamps.
Mm-hmm.
They look physically strong and mentally strong. That's what I like about them. They don't just look manipulative and mentally strong and then horrific. These look more warrior-esque and smart, whereas, well, the traditional, like Dracula, that one was just more horrific and mental. The horror implied strength, obviously, too. These do lack a little bit of the fear to it, unless you know what you're dealing with and it's real. Different context. Okay. You're welcome, Louis. I will like to see the movie Kane and Raziel. Okay, thank you, Rain. It's been one of my most favorite game series ever. Nice. So it's got to be a good game. Great lore on that one, too. So thanks again, Louis, for preparing for these Monstercasts, even though you're not in the Discord. Moving forward. Spinning that wheel. Wait, let's take Louis off. Louis free. He's still alive. He can stretch himself out. He's got one outstretched joint, but we'll get that fixed. All right, we got the four of us still on the wheel, enjoying it, enjoying the torture. I think, because I'm on it. So I got to say that. Donde no, it's C. It passed right by him.
Alright, let's kill us. So,
Keep
I
going.
have chosen an rather unnecessarily dark lord. Well, not unnecessarily. I would say, if you're familiar with Spyro, or rather the legend of Spyro, you will be familiar with a guy named Malefor, which is a giant fucking dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Images.
So, dark dragon, nevertheless. Fucking awesome, because despite him being evil, having roamed across the country being evil, he literally reanimated the dead and all. I'm certain you can understand that it was merely a coincidence that he got defeated by a purple dragon, so he decided to murder all dragons, just in case that there wouldn't be any purple ones. That's how as logical as it is.
Good night, Darth.
Good night.
Yeah, and apparently pro and
This is the dragon itself.
Oh, there.
I mean, it would almost be impressive if it wasn't because that was the trilogy that led to the Skylanders.
What lore is this from, or game, or movie, or?
Legend of
Spyro
Spyro,
series.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
which is a semi-reboot, well, a full reboot that led to Skylanders, which makes it inferior. But hey, it's not terrible. The story is okay.
Okay. So the game's
So,
okay. It doesn't make up,
I,
but it's an alright.
Basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I have much more than that, because it's Malefor. He's a Dark Lord, and the other guy that I wanted, I think, no, he wasn't.
So
That
it's
was Morgoth, and Morgoth is, Your
Morgoth.
typical bad guy. You really can get more classical than Morgoth.
True. The typical Overlord, right? By default.
I wouldn't say
Uh,
Dr. Nefarious Count is way too comical. Malifor, however, is in a very childish and very interesting game, rather dark. And according to the Wikipedia, he's also voiced by Mark Hamill for some reason. I never
Who?
noticed.
This dragon?
Apparently, yes.
So it's a
English voice
dragon
actors.
that went out to destroy all other dragons, correct?
Well, technically, he was already a tyrant of a kind before he got. There was a prophecy that said that. What's it called?
That another of his with his scale collar was gonna kill him, so he committed self-genocide.
Basically, he took another dragon's self and turned it into an enormous fucking monster that did all of that. And because he was lazy, and then he was sealed away for a few thousand years.
Well, being a pink-purple dragon, he just looks like a much cooler version of Spyro himself.
Yes, I
Basically.
think that he has been. I think he himself is. What's it called?
A purple dragon.
Nice.
That is why I said. That is why I said he started committing
They're both pretty much
self-genocide.
the same type of dragon.
Well, that's the thing
They
in
are.
this in this part of the universe. At least there is what's it called?
It's just
Death?
funny because C was looking for the name of the species. I was mentally as well, and then Chris just put it how it
Well,
really is.
Different
It's a
types
purple
of
dragon.
Well, there are different types of dragons with different abilities, and the purple dragons are special because they can
Have all the-
actually use all of the 4 elements so far,
Mm-hmm.
which is completely negated in the third game, where the other dragon comes along and learns 4 new elements, which are just better. Oh yeah,
Centaur
they
is
can
good,
fly.
girl.
The first time they can fly. Spyro can actually fly in that game, which is
Sort of.
fucking amazing. He is, however, bound to a stupid AI, which doesn't help. So you know,
Don't talk shit about my girl Cinder. She's great.
Cinder is
She's my
great,
favorite
but the
dragon.
AI is not.
Raincrawler, I
That's
see
why
you
it's
sent me a
co-op
message.
game. You play with friends.
I don't have.
Raincrawler, if
I
you're on
didn't
YouTube
have friends.
and you can hear me,
Mm.
is it okay for me to open that message publicly here or not? Let me know,
I
otherwise
should
I won't
go. I
open
have
it.
something I should look at. You guys stay toasty.
You're leaving because you have
Aw.
something you need to look at? See? Is that really the reason?
I need to look into something shortly. I will be back.
Okay, see.
Okay.
Thank you. And it's just us voices here now on Discord. I can confidently say
Huzzah.
that today with Donde here. I am pleased. All right, let's spin this wheel. Let's get down to the last 3. I like that we had a Dragon Dark Lord. That's good. Arthur and Donde. Donde, you don't know how much it pleases me, and it's an honor to finally speak to you. This is an official greetings to you. Now, Donde, if you have something to share on the Overlord, Dark Lord, let us know. If not, let us know.
I'll share this guy right here. I'm not sure if he applies, but he actually is sort of a monster because he's experimented on godlike beings just to gain more power, and he's never really
As one
portrayed
does.
right.
Go on. Dark Sword.
But yeah, I'm this guy, Dr. Victor Von Doom.
Ah, there we go.
Hmm.
And
Is he from
Von
an anime?
Doom. No, he's a Marvel character.
Ah,
yes,
Victor
Yeah.
Von Doom. I wouldn't really call Von like Doctor Doom of all people as a Dark Lord. Specifically, he's more of a just a lord who's a butt. Kind
A
of makes
butt.
some sense.
a lord that's a butt.
He's a modern
Yes.
butt, Lord. Well, like, let me see. As far as Pro's presentation of what Dark Lords are today, he said that have dominion over power. I don't think he said dominion over minions, because usually we think Dark Lords should have somebody that they lead over.
Oh, In that case, he would fit, as Doom does indeed have dominion over power.
True, true. So I think he should work. He definitely has the appearance if we're gonna go with that. So Dande, what made you think of him?
I don't know. I just thought I'd share something because I didn't really know what Pro meant by Dark Lord.
Right. Are you a fan of Doctor Doom at all?
But I like the character.
You do. What particular things? Like something about the character's traits, weaknesses, strengths, and his personality?
Oh, he is can get easily butthurt and is a sore loser.
What do you
Sounds
think,
like
Don?
anyone.
So, what do you think, Dande?
He's
What do you specifically appreciate about him?
I don't know. Just how he always ends up becoming the villain for somebody, just because he always tries to outdo them or something.
Right, right. Yeah, he does seem
As mentioned, bit of a sore loser.
arrogant in a way, overconfident. What's the other way? The other word. I always forget it. The word that is
Hubris.
Trump.
Egotistic or narcissistic.
Egotistical, narcissistic. There we go. Maybe a little narcissistic. But then again,
I
he
would
is
think
like
he is because
Mhm.
the thing that happened was I think he had like a scar on his face, and then he saw that his face was imperfect, so he decided to put hot metal over it, which is what his
Yeah,
mask
that,
is.
that
Mm,
yeah, that's a
His
kind of
mask
dumb.
is his face.
Yes. See, on one hand, he took over an entire country and is technically a tyrant, but he runs the place actually well, and people are happy under his rule.
nice. So yeah, that definitely makes him a Dark Lord then. Um, so he's a dictator. All right. So I forgot his beginnings. Is he like a doctor? Well, obviously, I mean, like more of a scientist of sorts, or a really rich guy,
Uh-huh.
or both a little bit.
He was first a very. He technically he was born to a roaming band of gypsies from his home country, and from his mom he learned some magic. And then he went to Harvard, where he became very big in the science field. But the sore loser part kicks in as his roommate Reed Richards, future stretchy boy, outshined him in practically every way. So he tried
Oh,
to
okay.
outshine him, in the process of which a kaboom happened, which may give him the scar. So he decided, you know what, I'm gonna put myself hot metal on my face permanently, and he also. With that, crafted himself his suit of armor that is technically kind of sort of magical as well, a mix of magic and science. And since then, he has been pursuing how to become more powerful via both science and magic. And in
I
the
see.
process, he became very rich. And as the leader of an entire country, you do tend to be quite rich.
Mm-hmm. Okay, gotcha. So it's the competitiveness against what's his
Reed Richards.
yeah, what's his other name?
Oh, fantastic, yes.
Mr. Fantastic.
That
Okay.
was it in the beginning, but eventually he kind of stopped caring about them and just moved on to bigger things, which is why he has become the villain for many other heroes.
I see. I see. It's funny because he could have become an anti-hero in that case and had a more maybe interesting story and run a country, but instead he just became a villain for others, which is I don't know. It just means he's a
Well,
messed up
not really.
person.
He didn't become a villain specifically for Reed Richards. It's his pursuit of power and whatnot is what basically it resulted in Reed having to come again to stand against him in order to stop him.
Right. No, his um issues, disagreements with Mr. Fantastic sound fine. I mean, he's got that going. He's his villain. It's like Venom the Spider-Man, you know, if you're looking at Eddie Brock, fine, you know, that's all cool, but eventually he got over it. Cool. Okay, that makes sense. You shouldn't spend your whole life. He probably saw a therapist. So eventually he got over it, but why go and bother other people now instead of just running your own kingdom, you know? So,
Well, because he wants more power. At one point, he
mhm.
became the literal god, capital G, of the universe. So,
Okay.
but
All
I
right.
don't remember which timeline that was in.
So
He's a hyper ambitious gentleman.
let's see. He can control magic and has similar technology to Tony Stark. Louis says so. He's
Oh.
like a magical Iron Man.
Technically even better tech than Tony Stark, you could say, because he is considerably smarter than Tony.
I didn't know it was magic. I thought his power was more technology based, like electricity and stuff.
Yeah, he can mix both, so he uses
Oh, I
both
see.
science and magic at the same time.
That's pretty powerful then. He fought
Yeah,
Mephisto.
I think in one storyline he takes as guardians and he sort of does like a Frankenstein on them and makes them into like something.
No
I
way.
actually haven't been to read it, but that's from what I
Oh.
remember being told.
Okay, that sounds awesome. I'd want to see an image of that Frankenstein abomination creation. It must be quite
it
powerful.
actually isn't that very. It isn't that very glamorous as in terms
I
of
see.
appearance.
Well, damn. Still,
Yeah.
shows his power though. He's a powerful one. I know Mephisto is powerful. He's one of the higher tier beings of the Marvel
Basically.
universe. The devil of Marvel, basically.
There is devils that are higher ranked than him, but yeah, he is a wee bit on the strong side.
Yeah, that's what. That's what Raincrawler said. This is what really shows the power of Doctor Doom, which you wouldn't really know just seeing that one movie that featured him. He fought Mephisto for the soul of his mother. I mean, that's how powerful he is.
Yep.
That he can actually fight the devil itself for a soul. It's been taken. That is cool, Louis. Twice became God on Secret Wars. Wow. Okay, I have more respect now. That's why I love being educated on a particular lore or being, because now I appreciate Doctor Doom a lot more than I have in the past. I just thought he's a generic Marvel villain.
Oh no, he is a boss villain.
He is. And that's how I see a lot of the Marvel villains, like the older ones, like Doctor Octopus, Doctor Doom. I wasn't impressed with them, but I never learned their lore, and there's a reason why they're classics and why they're one of the originals, because the originals had better lore than a lot of the newer ones. So I've come to respect that and appreciate that. Like Doctor Octopus, I never had an interest in him until the movie. That cleared up some things.
That's fair.
And it was more just physically looking at things, and that's why I was drawn to Venom, because then I saw Venom and I'm like, oh, damn, black and white, looking crazy. Okay, that's my favorite now. It was very simple. It wasn't going deeper than that. But I'm going to stick with my Venom.
Venom is great, but for me, my most favorite Spider-Man villain, hands down, is the Lizard.
Ah, yes, back to the Lizard. Yep, you had a whole thing about him. That's a good one, too. We should do a Marvel, or I specifically like I don't know. I was going to say Marvel villains or superhero or comic book villains, maybe Monstercast. That'd be fun, too. Okay, moving on.
I think on the to add just on the DC side,
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure. Oh crap! I forgot his name.
Killer Croc.
No, but he lives on a planet. I'm blanking out on his name now.
Is he the equivalent of Doctor Doom?
He's sort of stronger than Thanos. I'm blanking out on his name.
Oh,
For some
yeah.
reason.
Oh, Darkseid.
Darkseid.
Dark-
Yeah, there we go.
Darkseid. Oh, he is Darkseid is a whole. He is a literal, actual god that lives outside our time and space dimension. All of those figures of him that you've seen fight, Superman, the other heroes, that's not actually him. That's just his avatar that he manifests. In reality, his body is like the size of a star and has nigh omnipotent power in his dimension.
Chris, you got much louder, which is good. So Dundee, what were you going to say about Darkseid?
No, I just wanted to throw him out.
He's a pretty baller.
Yeah.
Dark Lord, yes.
Yeah, he's a powerhouse. Yeah, DC would be interesting to explore here sometime. I don't know much about it. I know Lobo seems to be a pretty cool character there, but I'm pretty limited.
Lobo is great.
Cool. Confirmed.
He's adorable.
We're gonna have to talk about that sometime, Chris, in this session of sorts. Because I think I agree. No. Okay, moving on. Turning the wheel. So thank you, Dande, and I don't know why I'm still spinning you. You can come off the wheel now, Dande, if you're still alive. Beth, do you have anything to share? After this hour, almost 2 hours, did you find something?
I sort of won, but I don't know if it counts.
Okay, try it out.
See if I can find an image of him.
Okay. How you doing today, Beth? You've been seemingly quiet today.
Hold on.
Mhm.
I was
That's
asking
quickly
how you
getting-
are. Do I have to wait for an answer on how you are?
Honestly, I've been feeling like crap lately.
Yeah. Same here. Shout out to people feeling like crap lately. Who's been feeling like crap lately?
I have no motivation at all to draw.
How about you, Chris?
Sour.
Sour?
God damn.
I don't know, I've been generally fine, just
Been good.
mundane, nothing particularly
Good.
special.
How about you,
Okay,
Dande?
here's an image.
How you been lately, Dande?
I've been doing okay.
Doing all right? Been doing all right here, I guess. Been having weird anxiety. Don't know what's up with that. It's interesting. But that aside, Bethany's. Oh, looks like someone from our dear Skyrim. Is that so?
Yes, that is Lord Harkin.
Lord Harkin. Okay, what can you tell us about him?
He was a ruler once that got everything except the only thing he wanted to stop was mortality. So he sacrificed like hundreds or thousands of people in Moloch Ball's name. Became what is known as a vampire, and
Nice.
ever since then, the only thing he wanted to finally stop as a vampire was the sun. So he went after this prophecy that is said to block out the sun fully, but he never really went after it until the Dragonborn showed up, which is honestly lazy.
It is.
Right. He didn't have motivation.
Yeah, everything in the game always make the Dragonborn do it.
Well, when you have him on hand, why not?
It's like, oh, you're here. Why not?
Sorry, guys.
I just let you do my shit.
Sorry, guys, on YouTube. That is the top of his head is cut off, but he does have glowing red eyes. That doesn't.
Yeah, he's a vampire.
He is objectively, though he is objectively not the coolest vampire. The name Har-
Yeah, honestly, he's not the coolest in the game, but here's your only ticket towards being a vampire lord, so you have to
Oh, I
put up
see.
with him.
Yeah, I
And
can't recall.
In general, in
Hmm.
terms of fiction, he is very far away from being the coolest vampire that has the name Harkon.
Of course.
And even the longest time, I realized on the Elder Scrolls universe is actually two different types of vampires, like from the different bloodlines. There's the one from ESO. I forgot what type of vampire it is, but they're not like vampire lord. Like, honestly, I don't even know which type came first. All I know is that there's two different bloodlines.
Alrighty. Well, Bethany, I hope your monster of next week will be more inspired, so that you will be more inspired too, because I see you reflect, the way you are reflects on your monster. That is how in tune you are with the monsters you present. So,
Yeah.
he may not be
Honestly,
the
it
greatest
is.
vampire, but he's still a vampire lord. That's our second one today, our second vampire lord. So thank you, Bethany, for sharing. I don't remember him from Skyrim, but it's been a while. Did you get?
It's from the Dawnguard DLC.
Oh, I see. Okay. Did you destroy him?
Well, pretty much you have no choice.
Okay, I like that answer. That's how I tend to answer
Like,
things.
if you're with him or against him, like at the end, you still have to kill him.
Right. Okay. Anybody remember dealing with this?
Yes. See, during the Dawn Guard expansion, you kind of have to become semi-undead to deal with the thing. But I refused to become a vampire, so I just decided to store a part of my soul in the Soul Stone.
Yeah, because you're pretty much offering a piece of your soul to the masters or something in the soul carrying.
And I'm fully aware that if any of them try to pull any shit with me, I can beat the crap out of them. Because I'm a motherfucking Dragonborn.
That's right. Alrighty. Chris is completely correct. On Dark Seed, Arthur, have you read Uzumaki from Junji Ito? No, I don't think I have. Me, man.
Well, besides being a werewolf in Skyrim, the only good thing about being a vampire lord is like you don't have a limit of turning back. You can do it willingly.
So, being a vampire and being a vampire lord in Skyrim is different?
Yeah, being a regular vampire that's been contracted by a disease,
Yeah.
but turning into a vampire lord, like he actually puts his blood in you, and you get that vampire lord transformation, and you get more abilities
Oh,
and
nice.
power.
Are you still affected negatively by the sun?
Yeah.
It
Damn.
is still a disease.
Right. I thought the sun
it is
weakness
a
would go away. That's
technically
annoying.
disease, but Harkon sees his gift, not like a disease.
Okay.
Well, yes, he is the one trying to spread his magical aids.
Nice.
With his mouth.
As Chris would say, that sounds cute.
The best description.
Yes, I want to spread my.
So,
Well, to be fair, didn't California make it now not a punishable offense by law to intentionally do that? California is weird. No wonder they have a resurgence of bubonic plague and leprosy.
who knows? I wouldn't be surprised.
I think they're fine with it.
I would think, though, being a lord vampire, you should at least be less affected by the sun or have other ways of dealing with it. There isn't such a thing? Because that's a really annoying trait.
Like, there is mods that increases your immersion. Like, instead of just burning up wherever you go, you can go into the shade or some shadows to regen your health.
Okay.
But besides mods, the in-game vampire on
Cool.
no pun intended.
The only good thing about vampires is that the Argonian vampires look retardedly funny.
I'd have to see it. Alrighty. And Louis gave us a shout out. He said, me, man, I feel like crap. So, Louis, let's put our crap and negatives together to make it a positive. But I'll be okay.
Frankly, a lot of my friends and I are feeling like crap. Like, none of us are motivated to draw. Why is it a shit time for us?
Might be the weather.
Probably.
Louis says, hey, is it me or are we close in personality to the Dark Lords we choose? I'd say there's always a little bit of that, Louis. Go ahead, Beth.
Like the choices that we chose to show or something?
Yeah. Like that's why I like that episode we did a little while back where we all presented creatures that are us, like the elemental representation of us. And people could create something or show something out there that's similar.
Well, have they ever tried to actually draw their own character?
Yeah, some
like
people did too.
Like I have my own, but I wasn't there at the time.
So that's always fun because I think anytime we do share favorites and things like that, it does show a part of your character. It's like choosing a name you like. I've noticed that in classrooms. And I have noticed that with animals, and that's, of course, a shaman approach and in animal medicine, but also even here, anytime we present a particular monster, and that was largely covered in my Psychology of Venom video too. Even why I was drawn to Venom and the two sides of him, and why I like Hulk and how that all relates, and even a werewolf. But even these Dark Lords, they clearly, and even maybe the one I'll present has, they all have a little bit of us in them. We can say that, I think.
With artists, when they design a character, pretty much anything in general, just by the subject of the character or just by their art style, it pretty much reflects their personality.
Right. Yeah, it does.
Because I only have like 3 characters now, and they both pretty much just scream edgy.
Yeah. That's the new word that's getting annoying quickly.
Edgy.
As people are lacking better descriptions and antonyms and synonyms. But whatever, adjectives as a whole. So, by the way, that was a joke when I said that you are like him and lacking inspiration. I was just referring to you being unmotivated to do art and being similar to him being unmotivated to do more with his Dark Lord powers. So I was just drawing a link between that.
Yeah, these are the 3 characters that I have, and they just show you the type of.
Right, and that's Beth.
That's me.
That's her. Okay. That's who it is inside her. If you pull off all that meat, it's going to be that. Okay? That's in
I
there.
should redo my ref sheet. The 2 top ones I did in high school, they're like old.
Louis on YouTube says, I see a lot of myself in Kane, kind of like that close personality. Rain Carler says, Kane had a mission. He wasn't evil. It was his responsibility he did for the sake of his people. True, but people considered him evil because of his choices. Okay, cool. All right, let's spin that wheel. Let's move forward. Where am I?
How many people are left?
Like 34.
Yeah, it is concerning.
Pro left during his thing.
Oh.
Yeah, he left early on. Let's see. It's Donde again because I didn't take him off.
You should take that off.
Because it's not Donde's turn. It's apparently Dando's turn. So Dando, do you have something?
Dando.
Okay. Rain and Arthur, and it's Rain. So Rain over on YouTube, he just sent me a message with his, and then it's this one. Oh damn, you went to this. Holy crap. I've been looking into this one a lot lately, as this is Flight of Dragons, an old animated movie. Very cool. Let me show you an image here on Discord. So this is the first image.
I never seen that before.
So Raincrawler, I've been working on a video lately, and one of the dragons I've been looking at is of Flight of Dragons. Bruya. Yeah, you should know Bruya Raincrawler if you know this movie well. Most people don't. I think you're the only one that ever brought this up with me, Rain, unless I'm confusing somebody else, because somebody has before in Monstercast. But oh yeah, and you guys can see this on YouTube. So here we go. Omadon, the Red Wizard from the Flight of Dragons. He wanted the Earth to be ruled by magic and not by science. Yeah, that's a great villain and context to just what the movie is. It's really cool because it's animated, but it's different. It's not like a lot of modern stuff. Serious. He even fused his dragon Bruya. Cool, there we go.
Science is awesome.
Yep. Turning into a monster with 6 dragon heads. Oh, I didn't see that part. Oh, yeah, right. The movie explains how dragons are able to fly. The movie explains how dragons are able to fly in a similar way of an aerostatic balloon. Ah, yes. That's why they're all so plump. and breath breathed fire ignited by static electricity. He was voiced by James Earl Jones. Ooh, that is definitely a movie on my list. So Flight of Dragons, guys. I can't play this in the Discord, but here's that multi-headed dragon that he created. Kind of out of himself too, or it combined because he had his face within it, and yeah. Cool Dark Overlord, more of a wizardy one than the rest today. We had 2 vampire ones. I did. Cool, you did it right, Rain. So you brought it up. You rock, Rain. You got a good taste there. No, Flight of Dragons. It looks like Chris, you've seen Flight of Dragons.
Nope, I have not.
Oh, you haven't. Anybody else here has?
Nope.
No.
Not me.
Okay. So yeah, it's cool, guys, because it's an animated film, kind of more for adults. It's for family, but it's intelligent. It's an intelligent one and intelligent context and topics. Definitely should check out Flight of Dragons. Shout out to that again. Thanks, Rain, for reminding me of that. And Bruya. Okay, let's take Rain off and spin myself. See if I can do that. I like spinning myself. Here we go. Arthur or Arthur? Is it going to be top Arthur or bottom Arthur? Oh,
Well, what about me?
wait, I thought, what? Oh, we didn't, did I?
Did you forget to add me?
Maybe I did. I thought it was on here, or I deleted you.
Guess not.
Okay,
I
spinning
feel
with Chris.
personally slighted.
Spinning with Chris. Chris, it's your turn. Officially.
All right. So since he didn't get mentioned, and he most definitely deserves it, I shall talk about 2 Dark Lords specifically. And the very first one, he is a bombastic character, an amazing one, which I'm sure most of us here know from times when we were a wee bit younger. Long ago, in a distant land, he, Aku, the shape-shifting master of darkness, unleashed an unspeakable evil, but a foolish samurai warrior wielding a magic sword stepped forth to oppose him. Shwing, shwing, shwing. Audio effects on point. Before the final blow was struck, he tore open a portal in time and flung him into the future, where his evil is lost. Now the fool seeks to return to the past and undo the evil that is Aku. First one's gonna be Lord Aku from Samurai Jack.
Right on.
Extra thick.
Oh
indeed.
God.
Really, he actually said that.
Extra
And
thick. Oh my
yes,
God.
that is indeed when he was ordering bounty hunters over the phone. Kill
Nice.
He orders them.
That's so
extra
awesome.
Yes. Well, when you're the master of the world, you can kind of afford it, so.
And again, that
Um,
voice is the wizard in Conan. Both Conan
Extra
wizards.
thick.
Both Conan movies. Barbarian and Destroyer. That is the narrator there, the same as in Samurai.
So, for those watching that are not familiar, Aku is essentially the pure manifestation of evil in the universe. He existed as a much bigger clump of like his own name Aku. It means the word evil in Japanese, actually.
Okay.
He was essentially this manifestation of darkness and just pure evil, which gods of different religions fought and almost destroyed, except for a small sliver of it, which landed down on Earth, and it grew to actually be Aku, this demonic, the master of masters, the shogun of sorrow,
Nice.
who essentially took over the world because no mortal weapon can harm him, and he can shapeshift, and he can technically kind of sort of bend reality to his will. He is an immensely powerful demonic creature, an infinitely superior demon king to that bozo Ganondorf. As I'm stating my bias openly here. And it's the only reason he was able to be somewhat defeated is that Samurai Jack, the main character, his father was the first one who had to deal with Aku, since he manifested during Jack's father's reign. And at first, Jack's father got his ass kicked in, and he was chained to the tree in which Aku was originally imprisoned by. However, the three gods, which I believe were Odin, Ra, and Krishna, I believe, from the Indian mythos, they essentially took Jack's father, and because he was a immensely good, noble, and pure person, like the paragon of virtue, they took out his soul, and from his nobility and purity, basically, they crafted the magical sword that Jack uses, which is essentially the polar opposite of everything Aku is, and that's why the sword is able to harm him. But as his literally introduction of the show itself says, once Aku managed to return and defeated Jack's father, and so Jack was essentially had to run away in order to survive. And in the process, he studied every form of martial art and fighting in the planet until eventually he received his father's sword and went to back to fight Aku, and he was getting him, but before he could strike him down, the Master of Evil tore open a portal in time, because he's that OP, and flung the samurai far into the future, like about 20 to 30 years after their current meeting, by which time Aku had not only conquered the Earth, but was also conquering other planets, literally dragging away all of their water and actual treasures and riches that the planets had in terms of resources, which would have spelled genocide for the species there, and those that were actually capable of being spaceborne would try to migrate to Earth in order to settle down and have somewhere to exist. At which point they would need to, of course, petition him since he is the big boss around. And like, oh, something happened in all of the ocean, and all of the waters on our vanished. So may we please settle down here in your planet, oh merciful dude? He's like, well, yeah, I know your oceans vanished. I'm the one who took them. And of course, by my mercy, I will allow you to stay, and every day you'll have to erect giant statues of me that will go up from the ocean floor and sprout above the waves. Like, he's being
Nice.
pure evil. You can see that he is quite selfish and narcissistic and self-absorbed. And he is just such a meme lord as well. There's a
Right.
plethora of Aku memes because he is just great. Just observe that face. Observe the face. He is superbly.
Right.
Uh, he just likes to mess with people. And the thing is, he isn't just all magic. In his future, technology is super advanced. Flying cars, spaceships, robots, and all that nonsense.
Yep.
And he even has his personal science division that develops robots and stuff to uh, help maintain conquest of the world and the rest of the universe.
Cool.
Well, and spoilers for Samurai Jack Season 5, which is the final season. Eventually, Jack does manage to get back to the past right in the very moment after he is originally flung forward into the future, and he does manage to finally put Aku down permanently.
Hmm.
That makes no sense.
So there is an ending.
Yes.
Welcome, Spider Flash 9 over on YouTube. Your first time here, I believe. So greetings. We're glad you're watching and you're here. I'm sure you found us through World of Monsters officially. So Chris, you have 2 more to share. Let's get this going.
One more, and I'm just
One more.
dropping just a couple more images because he is a glorious creature, this mad demon thing.
I just
Uh,
keep seeing the dubbed thing of SpongeBob with that.
Which was?
There's something about a box or something. It was like a secret box, and the scene in that series was dubbed with SpongeBob.
Okay. All right, Chris, where's
I don't know,
your second one?
And as for the second one, so this is the more classic one that I wanted to put forth. old blast from the past that I'm sure everyone can appreciate. Now, the second one that I would like to share is actually a very recent addition. Uh, the property he is from has existed for a few years now, but its official pilot episode came out only a couple of days ago. Actually, not a couple of days ago. I think it was the 28th of October when it came out, so a little over 2 weeks. And that would be none other than Alastair, the radio demon from Has Been Hotel.
Oh, that
Oh.
everyone's bothering me to watch that.
You should. You should. It is glorious.
Has been hotel. Okay.
Yes. So, Has Been Hotel is an original by um, Vivi. I don't recall the artist's exact full profile name. And it is absolutely glorious. For about 2 or 3 years, I think they've been working on this pilot with a team of people. Which, if you watching this series, the animation is stellar, the sound effects on point, and the voice acting is great. If you didn't know it was an original work, honestly, I would have assumed that this was something professionally produced by a uh, cartoon network like Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon or Disney.
Right.
It is that clean and that glorious.
So where can you
And
view this?
on YouTube,
YouTube.
you just type in
Oh.
Has Been Hotel, and you can watch the full 31-minute pilot episode that released over 2 weeks ago.
Oh, so it's very, very new. Cool.
Yes,
I can get on this.
and essentially the plot is takes place in Hell, where the daughter of Lucifer and Lilith, who was born in Hell, and she is actually a very nice person, and wants to help reduce overpopulation in Hell rather than yearly genocides by the angels by creating this hotel in which demons can come in order to get rehabilitated and redeemed so they can ascend to heaven. And of course, no one buys that. And this fine gentleman here has got to be my most favorite character out of the so far that I have been able to see. Alastair, the radio demon. In life, at least from what I was able to find out, he was a radio host from the 1920s, 1930s, who was also a serial killer that died in 1931. And for some reason, when he manifested in hell out of nowhere, he was incredibly powerful and started toppling down other overlords and bosses within the realm of hell that had been in charge for like thousands of centuries at the time. And all the while, he broadcast his carnage throughout hell in a radio fashion to show everyone that he meant business.
Mm.
So definitely has the Dark Lord esque thing. Just and he is the manifestation of the demon, the deal maker,
All right.
the eldritch abomination so strong that it can just wipe you away without a second thought, as he does to. He, I'm not going to give spoilers for
Okay.
for the pilot. People should watch it. It's glorious. And essentially he is great, but at this point, he's been down there for about so that's 70, so 90 years, almost a full century, and man is bored. So he doesn't believe at all that demons can be redeemed and can ascend to heaven. To quote him, that is wacky nonsense. The chance given was the life they lived before. Their punishment now is this. His quote, gesturing to hell itself. And just helping to run said hotel is an investment for entertainment for him, as he wants to watch the scum of the earth try repeatedly to claw their way to bettering themselves, only to repeatedly trip and fall down to the fiery pit of failure.
Okay.
He's a glorious chap. I do highly recommend Has Been pilot episode. Also, there's a prequel comic that is a prequel to the pilot. And yeah, Alastair is best character. Fight me.
So what's that on his head? Are those ears?
Those are
Yes.
ears and antlers, because apparently he's part deer, whatever.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
one of the theories I heard is because the death of depends on how they look in hell, And one of the theories I heard, I'm not sure if it's the theory or it's actual canon, but apparently the reason he looks so young is because he died young. Apparently, he was going through the woods and a huntsman
okay.
thought he was a deer and put one between his eyes.
And it is a
And that's where
he. I want to hear his
that's
voice.
how he died in human life. Oh, you should.
His voice literally sounds like a radio.
From the 1930s.
Oh, I see. He's got that reverb.
Because he's the radio demon.
Right on.
And this cane that you see with him, that is actually like a radio microphone.
Oh, okay. Cool. That's pretty original.
He is glorious. Aku would kick his ass, but I think but Alastair is kind of that new shine, you could say.
Yeah, yeah.
Aku's the classic, and this is the new hot stuff, so to say.
Cool. The new hot sauce. Got it.
Yes. He is red, so he does match the hot sauce description.
And then my
Alrighty.
friends are bothering me to draw my OC as a character from that as well.
Nice.
I fail to see why you should not.
I'm still gonna spin myself.
I know my OC would have to be demonic, but also part animal, but I don't know what animal I'd be.
Well, it doesn't have to be an animal. Not all the demons turn out animalistic. It does depend a lot on what type of sinner they were in life and what in the way they died.
Well, probably mine would involve crime.
Well, there's a number of gangsters. Literally, the episode technically, the first major scene past the opening is a territorial attempt at a territorial takeover by a mob boss-esque demon. It's hell. That's the place the people like that tend to go.
Well, yeah. But I don't know if my OC's design would change much besides the art style.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because the animation style, in a way, it's like Tim Burton. Because, like, they're skinny stick figures, but not like a stick figure. They're just really skinny.
Yeah, that's fair.
Alrighty, guys.
But yeah, unless someone has any questions, those are my two.
I just gotta find the time to watch that.
Immediately after this stream is concluded.
Why?
Because it's glorious and you.
So here we go. Here's mine. I've mentioned it before, so I'm not going to talk much about it. And I do want to finish this up here slowly. I did give this episode a longer time as I have been singly living for almost the last 2 months, and that will be ending soon. So at that point, I probably won't be streaming for this long. So I'm taking advantage. Mine is, I don't know, it is a Dark Lord, I guess. We should do Overlord
like
sometime
Yoda.
too. So this is an old one version, one look of it, and I have mentioned him before.
I know this man.
Chris knows it. Anybody on the YouTube chat, can you already predict who that is? Do you know who that is already? Let's see. So that's one version of him. His name is, he's from the Thundercats. One look of him is as an old, frail person. And my images are all over the place. Okay, here's another image. This one's like a newer one. I like this one because this really shows him old and frail, yet modern. Which, I don't know. But there you go. In a wheelchair.
Oh, he's a cripple.
Basically, yeah, cripple. This, let's see if they got it on YouTube. Oh, yeah, they got it. Both of them. Hell yeah, I knew you guys would. This is Mumra of Thundercats. Mumra. I don't know much on the lore. I look forward to actually exploring it more in the future. I love him so much. So far, the aesthetics, as I don't know much more, as I said, that I would be willing to do a full-fledged video on him. But this is his other form. Once he's done looking like a wise old person and you piss him off or something, he goes into power, and this is Mumbra in his glorious most glorious form, and what an amazing figure this is. If it would just frickin' load. Come on
It's
now.
a click on it. He looks like Thanos.
There we go. Yeah, there he is.
He becomes extra thick.
Oh,
He becomes
yeah.
extra thick.
He's thick and hard. He's got a lot of that Conan inspiration you can see in there with the double snakes. Somewhat Egyptian inspiration. Well, obviously, since he is a mummy of sorts.
He also looks like a monkey.
He does have this unhuman blue tone and look to him. Again, guys, I don't know. Here's a full. This figure is amazing. I'm gonna have to get this someday. Knowing that this
Save
figure.
some of your money.
Oh boy, he said mini. Hold on. I gotta reply to that, Donde. There we go. Gotta react. So, yeah, but this is a full-fledged figure, right? And just knowing that this exists somewhere in this world, in the same world that I'm in,
Probably get it off of Amazon or something.
that's tough. I'm gonna have to get it. But that's beautiful as a work of art. It looks, of course, better than in the cartoon because this figure is an amazing artwork. But that's Mumra. He's a Dark Lord. What our topic is. I don't know much more to it, but there you go. So far it's largely of what I know about the lore. I'm sure when I dig deeper into the lore of him, it'll be even more amazing. And he does have power over his minions. Here's a concept art or artwork of some of the minions. I used to have the scaly green one. I used to have that action figure back in the day. Got
Why
it
does
in
he
the
have
80s.
to hide himself as a cripple?
That's why I have to learn more of the lore. There has to be something cool to it. Well, you can learn a lot and experience a lot in such a form when it's different from his actual form. So, actually, I'm not sure which one's the actual form, but walking around as a big buff guy, I mean, that's going to limit certain experiences in society or walking around. So, I'm sure he
People
can
tend
pick
to
up
be
some
more
things.
honest about themselves with others if they don't know that said others can beat the crap out of them.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Yep, that's one of them. Thundercats. Oh, they put him on a wheelchair. Yeah, that's funny with the whole insulin bag. Wiki check or Google check, man. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be looking more into him, especially if I ever mention him again. This is the second time I've mentioned him, so I'm not gonna overdo it.
I just crashed the game. Goddamn.
He can't take the sunlight. Oh, really? He can't take the sunlight. Well, damn. There's a weakness to his beauty. That's it, guys. I guess on my behalf, my favorite for today, other than my own, I think I'm still putting mine on the favorite. Just he looks amazing, but I need to learn more about him. But I think I'm gonna put Aku, just his sense of humor and what he is and shape-shifting. Yeah. Other than that, I was gonna say Overlord from the game Overlord, but Aku wins it with that sense of humor.
Hmm.
Aku is basically, technically the best cartoon villain that has come
He
out
may be.
so far.
He may be. I
He
do
makes
enjoy
a perfect
that.
foil. He is entertaining. He is actually evil. He is powerful, but
Yeah.
it's not something that the main character cannot overcome. So it's top notch.
Power, evil, and humor are a great combination. Funny how Aku narrates Samurai Jack's story. Right. The evil one actually narrates it. Yep. Good one, Louis. Let me ask you guys then. I'll work my way down. Beth, other than the one you presented, the Vampire Lord, which did you enjoy the most today? Any shout out?
The Radio Demon, I guess.
The Radio Demon. Gotcha. Cool. How about you, Dondi?
I would probably go with Aku because he's probably one of like other than some of the ones that we presented, he's like one of the few that I've seen and in cartoon and movie.
Right. So you actually know a little bit more about because you've seen him in action.
Yeah.
How about you guys over on YouTube? And how about you, Chris?
That's a toughie right there. I'm technically I would kind of have to go with Morgoth,
Morgoth.
as he's quote unquote the OG Dark Lord.
True that. Morgoth. What is Morgoth's? We know Sauron's appearance. What is Morgoth's appearance? Does he have an official
Sauron
appearance?
basically stole his look, so
Okay.
Morgoth is just bigger and has flaming hair. Also, if I do recall, his skin is charcoal colored, as he is technically a volcano slash fire deity of sorts.
Okay, wait. So he does show his face then. It's not
There
helmeted.
is fan art of it based on official descriptions.
Cool. Well, while I close up, Chris, if you can find like the most official fan art to that that you can find on Google now, if you have a moment, please put it up.
This is one of the most accepted official of him from official fan art. Nothing's really official since it's fan
Right.
art, as is
see.
this, but these obscure his face.
Yeah, I want to
Oh,
see
I
something with
remember
the
that
flaming hair, because I want to see what a face in that universe would look like with flaming hair. That's what's interesting
Actually,
me.
no, my bad. Apparently not flaming hair, but dark.
Okay, so he has hair
Originally,
though.
Originally, it was technically fiery, but it turned dark. Hold on, I think he was in the the Valar
Nice.
lineup.
Louis says Doctor Doom.
Yes. And yes, these are the Valar, essentially the secondary gods of Middle Earth. And you can see their Melkor, that is Morgoth's original name.
Nice. Beautiful.
They look like they're different elements.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They were created by the god of the Lord of the Rings universe, Arualuathar.
Nice.
And he's the top dog, basically, and all of them are his secondary deities, essentially. They're the main pantheon that creates and makes stuff and embodies the world. They're the creation points for the world, essentially. And that's
Nice.
kind of one of the reasons why there was only one part of the world that Arualuathar made specifically, and those are the western lands where elves go when they're about to fade, as Melkor was technically supposed to be one of the Valar that was in with the Earth itself, so kind of like Deathwing from World of Warcraft, you could say. And once he turned evil, his evil began. In Tolkien's works, evil is kind of like a sickness, and it spreads and infects things, causing them to turn rotten. And Morgoth's evil, as he was technically tethered to the earth in a way, began to infect it. And because elves are entirely pure creatures, because they would be born and live and sustain themselves from the land that was tainted with by Morgoth's evil, that's why they begin to fade after a while. And in order to avoid fading, when they kind of start experiencing symptoms, they need to sail west to the lands that were untouched by Morgoth, as his taint has been mostly contained on
That
the
explains
eastern
that.
continent.
Nice. That's pretty awesome.
Tolkien was deep. I love that man.
Yeah. Let's see. So Louis said Doctor Doom, and Raincrawler said my ones are Kane, Doom, and Haku, and obviously Mumra. Oh yeah. Yeah, Doctor Doom was probably my one of the day that kind of enlightened me a little bit on the character a bit more. Alrighty. With that, first of all, I have to congratulate you all and thank you for sticking it out. This may be our longest Monstercast yet, at 2 hours and 41 minutes right now. And to reward you, of course, as we do every Monstercast, you may choose or help choose the next Monstercast. So good job, guys. Like Chris said, huzzah. And now, your suggestions for the next Monstercast. And then I'll do a little bit more art talk after that.
Suggestions.
It's part 2. Right, it was a part 2 episode. True.
Yeah, technically.
All right, guys. Suggestions. Come up with something. I'm going to come up with something.
I don't know.
I got one. I'm not going to say it yet. I'm going to say it after we have them all written out. Oh. You guys can already see it. No, you can't.
We have technically done video game monsters. There has to be something with monsters in them.
What about ones that haven't been? I can't speak. Ones that haven't been mentioned or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think.
Donde, do you have any suggestions for something we haven't talked about?
I would probably just suggest flying monsters again, because I don't think we did that. Unless we
Flying. Did we do
Flying
that?
monsters.
Alright, counter to that, I'm gonna say trolls.
I hate trolls.
Oh, I love trolls.
Everyone gets to pick a type of troll from
They're
any
fucking ugly.
You should check
I
them
was
out.
always creeped out by those things.
Now
as
you
a
made
kid.
Beth correct. You are banned, Donde.
But yeah,
No more.
so everyone selects a species of troll from some manner of fiction.
They're just as
talks
bad
about
as
them.
Cabbage Patch Kids.
Don't you dare insult my troll character from WoW.
They're
He looks great.
creepy. I was always creeped out by them.
Well, Beth, wait a minute. I'm having a feeling that when trolls was mentioned, Beth is only thinking about those that Donde showed. Is that right, Beth? Because that is
Yeah.
not a damn troll. Okay, so you're not thinking of correct
That's
trolls.
the first thing that pops in my head.
Okay, that's the last thing that pops in my head. Thank you, Don. I don't thank you, Donde, but I thank you for bringing that up because we clarified what Beth thought was a troll. That is not a troll. I love trolls here. I think that's a great recommendation, Chris. I'm going to make a damn
Honestly,
video
I'm
just
putting
on
down
troll
my
love.
vote for trolls.
Okay, we got some from YouTube. So here are our requests or suggestions. Ready, guys?
Recommendations.
Mine for today is unseen monsters, unseen evils, maybe. All right, so
Maybe
this
by
gets
that.
interesting because we can't really present them unless there's
Hey, look
concept
who's
art.
late.
Howdy, what did I miss? You missed a lot, but you're not listening, So anyway, unseen monsters, just good monsters in movies, games, whatever, in books, novels that are unseen and what makes them so interesting. And then there's albino monsters. It's just a fun one, I think. Trolls. And then monsters in comics.
Monsters and comics.
And Raincrawler,
I've
you are correct.
read
Troll
that.
Hunters was a great movie. Beth, if you want to see a cool troll movie, other than the shitty Trolls movie, that is bad good,
The
I
only
guess.
thing I've watched that involved box.
What? Well,
I don't know if you...
go see Troll Hunters. It's a Scandinavian. I forgot what it is, but it's a great movie. Troll Hunters. Shout out. I have a little funky video on
If it's
YouTube on
on-
it.
If it was on Netflix, I could watch it, but I don't.
No, search that.
It should be easy to find.
Yep.
I think.
Cool. Down they've seen it. Yep. Pretty well known among monster enthusiasts, I guess. Arthur, delete my one, please. There is too many. Maybe next time. It's all good. What did you mention, Rain? Troll Hunters. I don't know what you mentioned. Okay, well, I'm putting these out. So vote, guys. Unseen monsters, albino monsters, trolls, monsters in comics. It's funny because for a while now, all our requests have been types of monsters. We haven't been doing like, what does this or how can this be possible? Like different, we can do different, topics too, like that. Go a little bit in depth like we started off, not just a monster type. But that's just an easier thing to come to mind. Okay, guys, what are your votes?
Trolls.
I
Chris goes trolls. Beth goes
I just go with whoever shows up.
Okay, you're gonna be the tiebreaker if we have a tie. Okay, Beth.
I'm always a tiebreaker.
Donde, what do you say?
Right now, I'm trying to decide between Unseen Monsters.
Unseen Monsters and
Of course, John goes for albino.
he went silent there.
I'll go with
Gonna talk about my buddy Moby Dick. Oh God.
Okay, we'll get back to Donde. Chris, what do you say?
I'm still on trolls.
Oh yes, trolls. Okay, trolls from Rain. Louis Unseen. So we got 2 for trolls, 1 for unseen. Donde, what do you
Come
say?
on, Arthur. Give us that 1 point of personal bias.
Louis, what do you say? Oh, you already did. Anybody else on YouTube? No. Let me check that. There's somebody on YouTube that's not saying something. It's probably me.
Yeah.
Donde, have you made a decision?
I'll go with
I love how hard it
Well-
is for him. Did you guys hear him say an answer?
I heard him
Yeah.
say trolls.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Oh, then he keeps cutting off at the end. Okay. Sorry, Donde.
Like,
yeah. Sorry about that.
No worries, man. Okay, so he said troll. Damn, that's 3 for trolls, so I can't even unbalance this.
I nailed it this time.
I'm gonna go with Unseen Monsters, and now I'm gonna wait for Beth to make a decision.
I don't
damn
care.
you, Arthur.
Beth, Unseen Monsters or trolls? You could put us at a tie or not.
Unseen monsters.
Oh,
Okay,
we're
come
at a
on,
tie. It's up.
Arthur, you sabotaging. the whole,
Make John break the tie.
Yeah, John's gonna break the tie. You see, Chris, I love trolls so much that I get a little bit fidgety, if that may become a possibility. It's a little bit too much for me right now. So that's what shows that.
Is this supposed to be a pun?
Louis said
I'm calling bull. You're a saboteur of the troll cause.
Louis said, "What pressure? The suspense is killing me."
Why you want me to?
Sorry, Chris, and I know that you're playing a troll now, and it's perfect timing for you. Okay,
It is.
calling out John.
There's Gargamel that keeps popping in.
We also need Z's input.
Yes, he said he's gonna be back, and over there, he's out there somewhere, looking
Yeah,
at
but he hasn't
naughty,
come back for some reason.
cold-blooded things. Jono's not answering. If Jono doesn't answer, I'm gonna give it to trolls.
I think he.
He's answering.
Oh, he's right. Right.
He doesn't get it.
I voted this. Just say we're on a tiebreaker between. I don't know. Before he voted for albino.
Or unseen. All eyes on him.
No, I'm good. Albino. I think he's gonna constantly say albino.
Maybe we should ask Gargamel real quickly before he takes off.
I'm gonna
If we
ping
can get a
Z.
hold of him. Let's see.
Gargi.
The wheel. That's a good one.
Who will be the tiebreaker? Only time can tell.
I could put
Every
it on the
time
wheel.
I see your profile pic, I can't take you seriously.
I could do the wheel, or I could just say trolls.
We did the wheel last time. Say trolls.
So next time we have a tie again, trolls will be the option too. Even if we do trolls already.
No, if we do trolls, that'll be it.
Okay, it's trolls, guys. It's official.
Yes.
I don't want
Crap, but
it,
C
troll.
just said unseen, so it's not official.
It's another tie.
Damn
What?
it. God damn you, see.
Wait, if
It's
it's
still a
two of them
tiebreaker.
voting, then they could have voted for other stuff too. All right.
Can
What
we
about
just
Darkus?
Do 2-1?
Darkus has been active. Albino trolls. How about
Albino
unseen trolls?
Yes, you can include some unseen monsters, but I just want to talk about trolls.
Unseen trolls.
I kind of like unseen trolls, actually. I wonder if we could find anything out there. I'm sure we could find at least one. Come on, Darkus. Darkus Malarkus. Queen of Kobolds is there too. Come on, people. Gargamel is typing. He's typing.
Please be trolls.
He's probably gonna say trolls.
He's probably going to say
He better.
something else. Like that.
Oh my god, his icon. Why do I... That face literally speaks trolls without him saying anything.
Crap, now I got Darkus's attention. I just need one answer. Don't please both answer.
Say trolls.
Say trolls.
And if they both answer, say the same answer.
Everyone's at the edge of their seat now.
Yes, they're all pulling their hair out. That's how important these things are. Dude, trolls, then unseen. It's going to be a two-parter. It's going to be unseen, and then it's going to be trolls. Triple threat episode.
Putting pressure on him.
God damn it, nobody's answering. Okay, Gargamel. Let's ignore Darkus for now. Let's just pretend he didn't say anything and hope he doesn't. Come on, Gargy. You called me out. I wasn't able to. God damn it.
It doesn't matter, just pick one.
Oh, if he watches the recording of this podcast, don't mean anything.
Come on,
Use her
Gargy.
sounding angry.
Which he might. He's pretty committed.
You can be a part of the next one. It happens every weekend.
Fuck. Come on. Come on.
If
I just
not,
aged
I will
2
go in
years.
his room tonight and...
Ugh.
Are you serious? Is he blind?
Bethany is getting frustrated because the trolls could be talked about.
Shut
That's what I'm thinking. He's gonna go trolls. I mean, he is Gargamel after all.
Trolls.
Of
Go trolls.
what?
I just saw
The Smurfs.
a trailer on YouTube for the next Trolls movie thing about music.
I do hope if we talk trolls that he does talk about the trolls of the Smurfs. I think he even covered them once already.
Wait, the Smurfs are trolls?
No, they have trolls. Or wait, no, I
Surprised
mixed.
if they are trolloid.
Sorry, guys. I mixed it up with David the Gnome. David the Gnome.
David the Gnome.
The old cartoon I preferred. What do you mean by... Oh, boy.
Would have been easier if he was in the...
Just.
But at least
Just
he's
all of
answering.
that, whatever
At least
you
he's
just
answering.
said, yes.
He's putting us through hoops, but at least he's there. And he's comprehending. Shut up, Chris.
I'm gonna go over there. Okay.
I'm deleted that.
Oh.
You're out of here. Come on. Gargamel.
Smurf down his throat from right in it.
You can flip and try.
He doesn't know the pain and anguish he's putting the four of us through. Come on, Gargamel. Is he on a phone? No, he's just typing slowly. Give it to us,
He's
Gargamel.
crippled.
Is another question. Okay,
It's a
let's
tough
do
decision.
Unseen.
Unseen
It
monsters.
is.
I don't blame him.
True. I think that would be more interesting. Chance that I get
Yes.
to be nice. He didn't do trolls. He went the other way.
Oh,
He went unseen.
no.
That's official, guys. That's official. It is
No.
unseen monsters. I'm glad this was such a hard
Dark.
decision.
No.
I'm looking forward to what the hell this is going to... Ooh, and another unseen. Oh, a cherry on top just in case I went back
no.
and said my vote didn't count. Hell yeah. There we go. We have an official cemented answer.
Well, I will pester you next week for trolls then.
Oh boy.
Rain, we can't give you an example of unseen monster because that'll probably give away the only one that will be discussed. But just
don't wanna
to...
spoil
Well,
it.
I have one already. I'll mention it, but let's not talk about it. The
I'll still
monster...
need to figure out what it means so I can figure out what I'm going to
Yeah.
be looking up.
The monster of Birdcage, the movie. The Birdcage, right? Birdcage, yeah. So basically, a monster, an entity, it has its effects on us or in the lore, but you never get to see it. Question is now, can it be a god or a ghost or an entity? Well, ghost, see, that's another one, right? So let's try to avoid gods, because I think that's an easy answer, and we have a plethora for that. Let's try to avoid gods.
Maybe ones that are down to earth type of monster.
Yeah, and even spirits and ghosts. I mean, spirits and ghosts and types, that's an answer. You can present that next time. But let's avoid that. Something more original, like the movie I mentioned. Yeah,
What about the
something more original.
boogeyman?
If it's always unseen. It has to always be unseen.
I honestly don't know what the boogeyman looks like, so does that count?
Well, do your research on it if it does have an appearance then.
He looks like an idiot. Can confirm.
So there you go,
I
guys.
don't know. People might have different designs on the boogeyman, so.
Well, even the entities of Lovecraft, they have unseen appearances, right? But they have an appearance. This doesn't have an appearance. How about that? Well, no, because in the birdcage... Okay, this is getting complex now. Let's say it doesn't have an appearance ever in the lore. But let's say if you can't find anything that truly has no appearance at all, nada, that
Make a list.
it has an appearance,
or
but
something.
nobody has ever seen it, or everyone can't see it. You just can't see it, but it doesn't have an appearance.
Or maybe like a creature that's been talked about, but no one knows what it looks like or something.
That would be a third if you can't really come up with anything, then yeah. So again, to rephrase, and I hope I remember this at the beginning of the next episode. If I forget, please remind me. So first rule, an entity, something that just has no appearance to it, but exists because we know by its influences, and that's what's going to make it interesting. Second, if you can't find something like that, then something that no one has seen, you can't see, and the chances that you do see it, something crazy happens. Either you die or you lose your mind. Okay? But let's try to keep away from that, because that's going to go too much into Lovecraft again too easily, or other things. So let's go with the first. It just has no appearance. And in that. And if you can't come up with anything there, then like Beth said, something that exists, we've just never actually seen what it looks like. So, yeah. There we go. And keep your suggestion of trolls for next time, Chris.
I will.
Good battle, by the way. Good battle today on that.
Well, that's if there's no other choice.
It would have been just too easy if I would have stepped on that.
You should have.
Honestly, I
You
actually
should
picked the
privilege
other
more.
option just to make it something to do.
And Bog replied to me, but privately. Okay, so we're done here with the official Monstercast and the topic. You guys are welcome to leave. You're always welcome to leave. Oh, we didn't thank
Well,
Gargamel. We should thank him.
I want to
We
smack
just
him.
left him in the dirt.
I shall help you smack him.
Mock them, then
There
I
you
say
go.
thank you.
Always show
Thanks.
gratitude. Okay, so we are done. Now I'm just going to discuss with Louis and... Oh boy,
Oh, well.
Chris is losing it. He's turning into the rat that he is. Stop it, Chris. You're better than that.
Now I gotta look up the first episode for Has-Been Hotel because I'm being bugged to watch it.
So now I'm going to cover the bit of the art contest and suggestions and my recommendations with Rain, Crawler, and Louie. So if you guys are done, you're welcome to leave. Otherwise, I'll be doing that live since they're on YouTube. Once I'm done with that, I'll officially close this out.
Wait, what art thing?
We're at 3 hours now, and I should be leaving soon.
No,
Just what I
art
talked
thing are you
about at
doing?
the...
Is it the art contest for this month?
No, what I
was it
talked
the
about at
last
the
month?
beginning of the episode. And thanks, Beth, for reminding me. Again, everybody, Dante holds art challenges here on Discord every month. This month's theme... Yeah, it is the month. Month's
Yeah.
theme is farm. Monsters of farm. Anything to do with a farm. Okay, so enjoy that. All right, now to you guys over on YouTube. All eyes on you. So are we supposed to sketch that what we think it would look like? Louis, not necessarily, just talk about it. If you find such a monster, I'd love to hear about it and the lore behind it a little bit. That's it. If you want to add sketches to what you think it would look like, that's cool.
The only thing I'm struggling to think is like, if no one knows what it looks like, how would anyone want to write about it online when there's no good description of what they look
Well, no, that you don't have to know what it looks like to know what it does. If we know that there's this entity that's always here that makes us think bad thoughts or makes us kill each other or something, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of ghost things for the Fae going into the unseen that have impacts. There's a lot, actually, if you dig deeper into it, of why we can or should talk about it. We just don't have a visual, and that's the weird thing, because we always have visuals, right? But we won't this
But
time,
I
or we
can't
shouldn't.
think of anything that's like that.
Well, think of, okay, so go into the easier spectrum of it and look into the spirits and ghosts of movies, and maybe go that way. Although those are seen, but... again, they can go unseen, so it's half relatable.
Half and half.
Yeah. At least it doesn't have troll in it. But it could. Because trolls can turn into stone in mythology and be completely out of sight. So, Chris, you could bend in trolls here somewhere. But
Not the trolls I want, though.
visual stones are still visual, so that still wouldn't work in. So if you can think of an unseen troll, completely unseen, I would give you kudos for that. Okay, so time to fly. Bye, guys. Oh, Louis, so you're leaving. Because Louis, if you had any art questions or wanted me to go deeper on your art and how we judged it, I can do that right now. Do you have time or no? Or do you want me to or no? Or I can do that next time. I think he's gone. I feel I'm talking to myself. This is just another day for me.
Actually, I'm gonna have to pop off too. It is almost 3 a.m. and I need to.
Right on, Chris. Thanks for your input and your presence. Have a great week.
It was always a pleasure.
Take care, my friend.
I
Weekend
think
as
I
well.
just found a website for unseen creatures, but I don't know
Nice.
much about it.
Okay, Louis said do it next time. Cool. How about you, Rain? Do you want me to review any of your art, the contest work, or anything like that? I don't know if you heard me talk at the beginning of the episode, but you can rewind it. Yours was certainly one of my favorites. Are you there, Rain? Raincrawler?
It's
Next
just
Monstercast.
me,
Okay,
you,
so I'll cover
and
those
Rain.
two next time and whoever else. And we certainly won't be spending as much time on it as this time. Now I have the pioneers, Beth and Donde. Wow. Look at that. You guys made it. 3 hours. Now I just want to stay on just to make it an unbeatable record. 3 hours and 6 minutes.
Don't push it.
And it's Donde's. See, Donde, this is how I we honor you. The first time you release the sounds of the hole in your face just went downhill. You are honored with a 3-hour episode. So
It just sounds like he's been shot.
it was going up. It was going up, and then it turned weird.
Yeah.
Next Monstercast. Okay, so we are done, guys. Thank you over on YouTube. Thank you here. Thank you, Beth.
Bleh.
Thank you, Donde. Just make a sound, Donde. One more pleasant sound.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
Awesome. And that's that. With that, guys, I bid you adieu until next Monstercast. We should be running the next one. Everybody, good luck on Donde's challenges. I thank you for doing those, Donde. If that gets bigger and more active, we should make another cavern for that and everything. I'm really liking that. And our art community is definitely, I'd say, a growing and possibly stronger point in the monsterhood, and that's how I'd like it to be. If I ever get tired, let me just put it this way. If I get tired of the Discord, there's too much trolling, too much toxicness or whatever. If it just goes bad, I will change this, I think, and keep it forever going, as long as we got World of Monsters, as at least a monster art place where we can hold challenges, contests, and share our art. That will be the least this will ever become. So, on being a large part of that, I thank both of you, Beth and Donde. So until next time, that's my goodbye. Stay monstrous, my friends. Goodbye, Raincrawler and Louie. Thank you for sticking up for 3 hours. I know you guys did. You were here. You were one of the first to show up. And thank you again, Beth and Donde. You guys can say your goodbye. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Just like, let it be over with. It's my outro song. There's only 4 people, and you're drawing this out, Arthur. Alright. There's my wave. Outro song added. 3. Hold on. There. Yes. Yes.
The Husband Hotel plot video, it's like half an hour long.
3, 2, 1. See ya, YouTube.